Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to what we're going to call Paranormal Saturday this week. Since I didn't get to cover Friday, thank you guys for joining me. And I appreciate you guys staying up so late to catch this with me. I got a couple pretty awesome producers that have been doing the paranormal stuff for us. And I appreciate them very much. A little bit of different stuff every week when we can. So I really, really appreciate you guys being here and wanting to see what we talk about when we do it. So, I'm sorry it took so long, guys, to get in here, by the way. I was trying to get my coffee filled back up and all that fun stuff. And one of my producers, there's Miss Andy, or Andy Squatch, or whatever you want to call her. Welcome, Andy. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Hey, what's up?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Awesome. Welcome, Mary Holt, for your first paranormal show. Good to see you. So, like I said, tonight is our Paranormal Friday, per se. We're doing it on a Saturday night. So I missed two of them, and I didn't want to miss any more. I want to pick it up where we left it off and move forward. We are going to be jumping into, coming up here, so my producers can hear me talk about it, a Bigfoot, a whole realm of Bigfoot, maybe for a couple weeks. Bigfoot, Yeti, Ohio Grassman, anything I can find on Bigfoot, we're going to be looking at that. So that's coming up shortly too. I've had a lot of requests for that. So, which I'm a huge fan of anything Bigfoot related myself. So once again. So thank you guys all for joining me. Hello, Salty. Welcome. How are you this evening?
Hello, I'm good. How are y'all?
Hey,
Wonderful.
Hey, Andy. How are you?
Thank you for joining us tonight.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm relaxing. I spent all day at the river, having fun, doing all kinds of things. So now I'm just chilling.
Awesome.
Great day.
Mom, you can check Discord anytime. You're welcome. So let's see who we got joining us in here tonight. It's like we got 37 peeps in here so far, and I need to drop this down. All right, guys, please make sure you're hitting the like button on your way through the door. I greatly appreciate that, if you will. I doubt we'll get up into that there algorithm, but we just might. So if you're in here, please hit that little like button, folks. Please, if you will. I appreciate you very much. All right. Sorry, guys.
I can't feel my face.
Kimberfoot.
Jesus. You can't get a lost feeling in your face again.
Oh, yeah. I just took my gummy a few minutes ago.
What? My face doesn't do that. I've took mine.
Oh, these gummies are awesome.
I mean, mine are pretty awesome, too. My face don't...
I think you're a little more used to them, Salty, than she is, probably.
Yeah.
I usually just take one, on the weekend, so Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah, kick it, girl.
So,
I'm even going to open the wine tonight.
Uh-oh.
Let's see who we are, Lord have mercy.
I'm going to mute out while you say hello. Kimber.
Yep.
Chill out, Kimber.
We have joining us tonight for this show. I appreciate every single one of you. Looks like Miss Sherry's back. Wisdom Speaks. Thank you. Butterfly71. Hello. And welcome back to you.
Salty, look at this.
Trish Crow, welcome back. Miss Brandy B, good to see you again. Of course, my
Puppy.
good golly. Miss Molly, the other paranormal producer in the house. Thank you for being here, Molly. Of course, the Doodlebug's in the house. Mary Holt, welcome back to you. Crimson Moon, good to see you again. Thank you for joining us. Glitter is Forever, welcome back. Good to see you. Debbie Clark, great to have you here. Captain Jenks in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you tonight. Alicia J, welcome back to you. Of course, Miss Kimber up here with us. Salty's up here with us as well. Great to see you up here, both of you, along with Miss Andy. I don't know if Mom will pop up here with us or not, but she's got that link. So whenever she's ready, she's welcome. Genealogy Gypsy, welcome back to you. Great to see you tonight. The green-eyed PI's in the house. Welcome back. Aaron B, good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you very much. Michelle Weddle, great to see you. Great to have you all here. Holly, welcome back. Good to see you tonight. CL's in the house. What's going on? Miss B Williams, welcome back to you. Good to see you. Let me see. Trish Crow, Andy Rose, B Williams, Leslie, and Billy, welcome back to you. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Love Tina 2010, welcome back. Shelby Lynn, great to see you. Kel, welcome back. Good to have you back tonight. Please make sure you guys are hitting that like button when you come through that door, if you will. Please, please, please.
Yeah, just pretend that you like us.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. You don't really have to. Just pretend like you like me for a couple hours. That's all it takes, guys. And then YouTube will be happy. Doodle's here with her cake, in case anybody gets scared. A bagooger. Bagooger. Well, I don't even know what that is.
It's a duck.
A duck, a bagooger. Okay.
A duck.
Yes, it's a long story, but it's a duck.
Yeah, it was probably it's a booger. Booger man. Booger man. Dago. Boogeyman.
But it's a
I
duck.
guess. Well, she says it's a duck because it walked up. She'll explain it. She's right there.
Yeah.
Hello, Mom. Explain the bagooger thing.
Okay, so a bagooger. So it started. Okay, so many years ago, back when I was still with the free life, I had chose to do some psychedelics, and we decided to walk to the local corner store, Minute Mart, whatever you want to call it, in your corner of the world. And we probably should not have been in public, for starters, partaking of the psychedelic experience. But when we come around the corner, a friend of mine, we were walking and like we saw something, and it was a bagooger, and I was like, "It's a bagooger," and it ended up being a duck. So it's like I don't know, a thing that I grabbed a hold of, and I've never forgot it. So if it's something in the dark that I can't tell what it is, it's a bagooger. And I went to take the dog to pee.
See?
And when I went outside, there was a bagooger in the backyard, because all I could see was green eyes, and it was rather large, and which he's pretty big. He's a pit bull, but he is also a pit bull, and if you have a pit bull, you know they are scared of everything. So I don't know if he would protect me from a bagooger. He would protect me from a human.
Your dog is scared of depends on the dog. I had one that would tuck her tail and run the other direction. I had one that would tear whatever that was up. I would have to play hell keeping her off of it. It was so bad. So yeah, probably depends.
You guys are gonna have me speaking a whole different language here pretty
soon. The bagooger, and I was like, bagooger, and so she explained the bagooger story. And now when I see the ducks across the street, me and my husband went out one day. I'm like, oh my gosh, look, there's bagoogers. It's like, what? I'm like, the ducks.
It's catching.
But now I call everything I need that on a mouse pad. It's a bagooger.
It's a bagooger.
Where's Thrifty? It's a bagooger on the mouse pad and a duck with it.
She was coming in. I'll text her.
I want that on a mouse pad. It's a bagooger with a picture of a duck.
Okay. You guys are insane.
You love us.
Of course I do. But how many of you remember this? A deja vu is usually a glitch in the matrix.
He's so awesome.
Have you guys seen that movie, The Matrix?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Can we
Of
talk about?
course.
Have
Can
you?
we talk
Hold
about
on.
how
Timber.
beautiful Keanu Reeves is? I just had to get it out. He's so beautiful.
Okay, that there, you did it. You got it out. You're good.
Totally cool, man.
So, have you guys ever thought about what? It's a movie. We all know it's a movie, right? It's an absolute movie. Made in Hollywood. Keanu Reeves, the beautiful one. The other, I can't think of her name, but you know the Lawrence Fishburne, Hollywood actors. They made this movie, but how many of you guys, after seeing this movie, have sat back and went, I wonder. We all know it's not real.
Or is it?
Or is it? Makes you wonder sometimes, because I've seen some things personally that have made me go, what the actual hell just happened?
Things that make you go,
Absolutely things that make you go,
Yeah.
So,
I've seen some weird stuff too.
and I'm a purebred 1,001,000% skeptic of this shit, because I don't want to believe in it. I want to believe in my life. I'm real. Okay. Just saying. Just saying. But
You want to believe you're real? That's so
what if
funny.
we're not, you guys? What if this is a simulation and some kind of computer world that we're just living off of a flipping microchip?
You just
Well, there
having like
are
a little
people-
Pinocchio moment. You just need to be, I'm a real boy.
There are people who believe that.
Listen, I personally, one time, I was driving through Akron, Ohio, going in the direction of Akron Airport, Akron Canton Regional Airport, right? I was on the passenger side of the car. I wasn't driving. I was in the car. But anyway, I looked to the right and I saw a plane that looked like it was coming in for a landing. And I'm not just saying this because of something I'm going to show you here in a little bit. My right hand to God on all my kids. The plane was not moving through the air. It was sitting stationary. It was a big ass, what do they call those things? 747 or whatever, passenger plane. Unless we were moving nonstop on the freeway. It was 76. We had to go 70 miles an hour. You can't slow down. 75 miles an hour on the freeway on Route 76. I looked to my right. I looked to my right again. The plane didn't move, folks. It was coming in for a landing. It did not move. Swear to God. And somebody said it had something to do with, I can't remember who I was riding with, my buddy. He's like, it's because we're moving the same speed as the plane. So it makes like or close to the same speed as the plane as it's coming in or something like that. I'm like, dude, that's a plane. It's going like 300 times faster than we are. What are you talking about? You know? It was like, no, we're matching its speed or something. That's why it looks like it's not moving. I said, I don't know, bro. That plane was standing still right there. I'm telling you. He's like, you're crazy. Okay. And then I made jokes to him for the rest of the day. I'm like, so when did you get this like faster than a speed of sound motor in your car? You know what I mean? He's like, that's not what I meant. You're an ass. I said, I'm just telling you. That's what you said to me. I said, we could not have.
Was it a mirage? I mean, did it?
No, it was a plane. It was a real plane.
Well, I mean, but did it act like one? So, like,
I don't even know.
Like, I get what you're both saying. So it would be like you have to do one of them little, what you call those, physics investigations or something.
Oh, yeah,
Like, so
yeah.
it just appeared to like it appeared to like just suspend basically.
It was just suspended in the air like it was stuck
Yeah.
there. And I looked 3, 4, 5, 6 times. We kept going and the plane wasn't moving. It was stuck in that spot.
Huh.
I'm telling you, it was froze solid, was not moving. And I do not believe in this stuff, you guys. But that
I'm
point,
more.
I had nothing else I could think of. Nothing else. So I came home and looked it up. Like I was mind blown, right? And I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff, you guys, talking about glitches in the Matrix, talking about time rips where it passed through a time rip or something. All sorts of stuff. What's up, Mr. Steve? Good to see you.
Hi, Mr. Steve.
Today's our paranormal show, sir. So it may get a little weird in here. I'm just warning you ahead of time. But yeah, that was my experience personally, and I'll never forget it. It was a big ass 747, and I was it was like you could tell it was coming in for landing because it was way lower than it should be. And I looked at it, and it wasn't moving. I've watched planes land. I've watched them come in for landings. They move forward. This did not move. For a period of time, it did not move. It's very weird. Very, very weird. Guys, please hit the like button when you come through the door.
Yeah, I see how that could actually be an optical illusion because it's not to do with
Yeah.
the speed necessarily, but with the angles and
Yeah.
your speed cancels out the speed of the plane.
That's
but
what
the
he
things-
said. It was
yeah,
something like that.
The things that I've seen videos of that I can't explain is that I've seen ones of birds in the sky and their wings aren't flapping and they're not moving.
Oh, yeah.
Those
I've
are
seen
the
those
ones where
things
I'm like,
too.
wait, what?
I have seen those
The
things
planes,
too.
the plane things I can usually kind of figure out why, that is, I can usually explain that away, but there's definitely ones that I've seen.
Well, how about a bird that's stuck, like frozen in time up in the air as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
they're not flapping their wings. It's
A bird that is flapping its wings and it's not moving anywhere.
You want an upset bird.
I've
never
seen those too.
I haven't seen that yet.
I mean, not in real life. I've seen videos of it.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like you've seen one.
Just the airplane. Just the airplane.
Yeah.
So, let's see what this here has. It's got some of that kind of stuff in it. So, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, you guys.
Welcome to a mind-bending journey. Into the realm of reality as we explore 5 strange clips that will make you question the very fabric of the world we live in. In this video, we delve into inexplicable phenomena that challenge our understanding of the universe and raise the tantalizing possibility that we might be living in a Matrix-like simulation. Buckle up and prepare to have your perception of reality turned inside out as we present 5 intriguing pieces of evidence that suggest we may exist within a digital construct. Is this the red pill you've been waiting for? Let's find out. Man in the side view mirror. In June of 2023, a video started circulating around the internet, depicting what many are calling a glitch or break in the Matrix. In the clip, the anonymous driver of a vehicle films a convertible just ahead of him on the road, stopped at a red light. It's when the driver zooms in on the convertible's side view mirror, things start to get weird. Take a look. It's pretty clear the reflection of the man driving the convertible does not match the movements of the actual driver. When he looks up, the reflection appears to continue looking forward or down, and the reflecting head does not jerk like the man does in real life. Many people view this clip and argue the reflection in the side view mirror is actually showing the person in the passenger side of the convertible and not the driver. However, look closely at the beginning of the clip when the entire convertible is visible. You'll notice there doesn't appear to be anyone sitting on the passenger side, and that the driver is the lone person in the car. Of course, skeptics continue to argue the passenger simply isn't the view of the camera's POV, and is too small to be seen from behind. Yet the reflection in the side mirror shows an adult male, who certainly would be big enough to see from a sideways perspective of the convertible. To make matters even creepier, notice the blue car driving alongside the right of the convertible at the beginning of the clip. It looks as if the blue car disappears in thin air, just as the cameraman zooms in. Now, this could just be an optical illusion as it moves out of frame. However, when considering the glitch in the Matrix that's about to happen, it does make you wonder, is this part of the world a scene where the simulation and reality merge? Or is this a clever hoax? What do you think? A half-read.
So what do you think, you guys?
I think it's weird.
It's very
mirrors,
clear.
Mirrors freak me out anyways. There's like just a weird energy, paranormal thing connected to mirrors as it is. So,
but you could literally see him doing one thing and the reflection doing something different. And it's like, wait a minute, is it because the reflection is reversed? So therefore, but it wouldn't make sense if the guy's head's up and the thing's down. Now these things have been hoaxed too, you guys, so don't let it fool you. People do this to get their videos seen, but that is something seems like it would be kind of hard to mess with. You know what I mean? Sorry to hear that, Walt. I'm rather upset that my $6.99 Gabe's wallet is breaking down. You are the most random person I've ever met in my life, Walt Harris. Yep, it's definitely a Bigfoot, Captain says. It's very possible that it is hoaxed or computerized or not computerized, like a video grift or something like that. So come on in, everybody, get comfortable if you will.
It would be a hoax if it was anything.
Of course, yeah.
That one's would probably be easy to do.
I would imagine you could probably take something and like video clip one piece to the mirror and then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to do something like that. But
I can't see too well because I'm on my phone. But it looked to me like when he zoomed in, like I don't know how to explain it, like the image in the mirror had been superimposed after the fact.
Yeah, like Virginia Woolf says, it's done. It's well done, but I would suspect it's fake as well.
Yeah.
Moving on. Number 4.
Rendered sky. A couple of years ago, viewers all across YouTube and TikTok marveled at this atmospheric phenomenon after someone uploaded a video showing what appeared to be a half-rendered blue sky. Before we dive in though, you have to see it to believe it. Take a look. Upon first glance, many viewers argue the drastic changes in the sky along such a perfectly straight line is proof that the sky hasn't loaded in this part of the simulation. Others argue this bizarre sighting is nothing more than anti-crepuscular rays, the fancy way of saying rays of sunlight that beam through small holes in the clouds. When these rays stretch across the sky in odd directions, it can form the perspective of a split sky, especially around sunrise and sunset, and in areas with a flat, open horizon. However, some people aren't so sure that's the cause in this video. They argue the drastic changes in color appear as if a filter got stuck halfway across the sky, rather than a ray of sunlight splitting an area of the clouds in half. What do you think? Just a coincidence of atmospheric conditions, or did the simulation fail to load the entire sky at dusk?
What do you think? I think it's just the sky itself. I've seen that 101 times.
It's the sky.
Yeah, when you think of just light reflecting off of moisture in the air and causing prism effect.
Definitely the sky.
Like that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Crimson. I don't know. YouTube just doesn't like you the past few days, does it? Welcome back. Same frame speed as the camera. Sorry, you're okay. You're okay. Cap says it's a blur. Glitter says she's seen something like that. That's a wicked icon, by the way, Glitter. So I think it's the sky and the clouds and everything. I've seen the sky do some strange things, you guys. I've literally seen cloud coverage that looks like there's a spaceship rolling in on top of us. No lie. Shelving clouds and stuff like that. It's crazy looking. So this world is built out of some amazing things. I'll just say that much.
Remind me to send you some pictures I have of really cool clouds.
I have a bunch that I saved too, just to look at them because they're insane.
Yeah, they're just really cool.
Well, thank you so much, Glitter. It's very fitting for tonight. I love it. I love it. Love it. Yeah, I've seen some clouds that have scared the shit out of me. I'll be honest with you. I've seen funnel clouds. I've been following funnel clouds with the fire department and stuff like that. But shelf clouds is what I think they're called that. I don't know. I call them that. But shelving clouds, where they look like literally like an object that is sitting there in the cloud. It's just you expect the clouds to open up and there's going to be some kind of an alien spacecraft inside of it. You know what I mean? It's very crazy. I'm sorry, CJ. I hope we're not scaring you. We do this once a week if we can. So just to decompress from all the other crazy crap we do. So if it gets to be too much, it's understandable if you step out. Nobody will judge you. I promise you. Walt Harris reminds me of the Factor Fish. Yeah, I got you. Number 3. 3.
The sky resets. Sticking to aerial phenomenon, this next video surfaced at the beginning of May 2022. TikTok user Gemini's86 posted an alarming discovery she made via her door camera footage. In a clip taken from the early morning hours of April 24, 2022, at around 3:36 a.m., the camera captures the night sky doing something that is absolutely unsettling against the grain of normalcy. Check it out. Viewers are very quick to remind you that this footage is actually a series of still images rather than actual video. Skeptics immediately point to their own door cam technology, explaining that some cameras have a setting that takes time-lapse photographs. These same skeptics believe the camera simply malfunctioned and instead of recording footage, took photos throughout the day instead. At first glance, this might seem like a plausible explanation. However, the TikTok account who posted the clip was quick to respond. She stated her camera has never been set to time-lapse mode, wasn't at the time of the discovery, and that she didn't mess with any of the other settings before or after this video was filmed. There is also video evidence that the uploader is telling the truth. Take a closer look at the background in these still images. As the sky gets brighter and brighter, you'll notice that every single object in the frame stays still. Nothing is moved. None of the cars are parked in different spots. There is nobody walking by or driving by. The only thing that changes is the light in the sky, and the night to day to night effect we see transpire throughout the clip. The TikTok account was quick to point this out as well, explaining she had driven the white car on the left side of the screen at 10 a.m. that day, and was gone for an extended period of time. This means that if these images are time-lapse photographs, they certainly aren't from April 24th, as you'd see the white car disappear once the sky...
I will point out she has
You
nice
like
hands.
her nails? Yeah.
I'm just saying, you knew it was going to come out of my
She
mouth.
does.
Her hand, it's right in front of my face. What am I supposed to do? She has very pretty hands and nice nails. See? It is what it is, guys. I'm a freak. I'm sorry.
became daytime. So if this isn't a time-lapse or glitch in the camera, could it be a glitch in the Matrix? Did an explosion light up the night sky? The night in question was clear, and there were no storms in the area, so it couldn't have been lightning. Did the sky revert from night to day on accident? For those who believe this is all a simulation, they might argue it was on purpose. For what reason, though, we'll probably never know.
Anybody? Everybody? Anything?
Camera glitch.
That's what I think it is, truly.
Yeah, probably so.
That, I mean, nothing moved. I'll say that much. That was a little strange, but
Right.
it
Right.
just has to be the lensing or something. And I don't know nothing about those Ring cameras to be able to say, "Hey, Gene, welcome, good to see you." To be able to say it was anything more than that, Michelle.
I've
Weddle.
seen videos similar, and it had happened because of a meteor or an asteroid, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so quick that you don't see the meteor itself, but you see like the flash from it
Yeah.
hitting
Do you
the
guys-
atmosphere.
Speaking of asteroid, you know that an asteroid just passed the planet not too long ago, like very close.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
It's a little unnerving, isn't it? Very-
They just don't announce it because people would panic.
Yeah, if you think about it, it would be unnerving, I guess, but it happens way more than you think.
Oh yeah.
And I
Very
mean,
much.
if one that big is gonna hit us, then
Yeah, we don't really
it
need
would
to
be
know.
quick, and there's nothing
We
we can do
don't
to
need,
stop it.
right? We don't really need to know. We're good. Boom. Bye, y'all.
Right. Maybe, hopefully, you guys have your gummies on when you do it.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm scared.
Just love on your friends and family as much as you can, and enjoy life,
Now, I
because
will
it could
say,
be over in an instant.
I will say this: Crimson is absolutely right. I have witnessed this once. We had a transformer explode
This is true.
at night, and it lit everything up like it was broad daylight, folks.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it was bright as all hell. So that's a good point. Very good.
Isn't it crazy how bright that actually is?
Yeah.
That explosion, yeah.
It's super, super bright. It's louder than hell too. You
It's
thinking,
so loud.
yeah.
We had this one where we lived when the kids were growing up, and this damn squirrels wouldn't stay out of it. And every time we turned around, bam, we're like, thanks a lot, squirrel.
You
Now
see
you
it,
gotta wait on the power company to get their ass out here.
right, and then you find a petrified squirrel on the ground next to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yes, that
Hey,
was
some
number.
people would call that dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Fried squirrel.
I'm not. Well, in my
Not like
family,
that.
they would. Well, and a lot of folks in my family would. I'm that one oddball that wouldn't, but especially that scorched dude. No, he was.
Not one of them. I couldn't do that. But if I did it myself, then that makes a hell of a stew. I'll tell you right now. I love squirrel stew. I was raised on that kind of stuff. Let's see. So yeah, Crimson, that's a good point out. I think it was that looked time lapse to me, and I think it was just a glitch in the ring camera personally. So number 2.
A new dress controversy. This next glitch in the Matrix is hard to catch, so watch closely. In early 2023, a video went viral depicting a series of bridesmaids walking in line in front of a camera before the bride-to-be stepped forward to finish off the video. However, something else started getting noticed by eagle-eyed viewers, and it's blowing their minds to say the least. Watch the bride at the end of the video and see if you can find the anomaly. People started pointing out that as the bride initially steps into frame, she has a very pronounced slit in her wedding dress, right at the front of her right leg. This is no subtle slit. The opening runs all the way up to her thigh and can be seen very clearly as she turns the corner. Yet when the final bridesmaid walks off screen, the slit in the dress has disappeared. There is no opening at the bottom, in the middle, or at the thigh level. The bride isn't standing still either. She is moving around and takes a couple small steps forward. This is an important detail, as there are dresses that show a slit when the subject is moving, but have no slit when the subject is standing still. Still, skeptics are convinced this is not a glitch. They are adamant the dress is folded shut after the bridesmaid walks away. But even after many views, slowed down and zoomed in, there is just zero proof that the dress has a slit in the final seconds of the clip. Whether or not it's a trick dress to drum up controversy, clever video editing, or one of the most bizarre optical illusions around, there's always the chance that the slit closed up and fused with the rest of the dress in real time. What do you make of this one?
That was nothing but Photoshop, is all that had to have been. Why they did it, I don't know. Maybe she didn't want the slit in the dress. Somebody said, hey, that's trashy looking.
No, that's got nothing to do with that, whatever that was.
That was not. What the hell? That was crazy. I'm sorry, but telling you,
you're not going to choose to take your slit out if you're confident enough to have a slit in to start with.
I mean, I don't know, but what the hell else? That's insane.
Especially not right in the middle of the walk. I mean, what?
Right?
She's walking and it's there, and then it's not there. I mean,
what I mean by
does she have somebody right there?
No, after the fact, it could have been Photoshop and they covered it up because maybe
right
was trashy looking or something.
She thought her slit was trashy looking after the fact, so she has somebody cover it. They go.
If somebody made a comment about it, Salty, is what I'm saying. Like maybe
I understand, but you know what I'd have said to that person who made the comment?
Kiss my ass. I know.
Don't look at my slit in my dress, bitch.
Well, there you go. I get it.
Why am I gonna Photoshop my whole dress for you, my wedding dress?
there ain't nothing else that makes any damn sense about that, though. So I was waiting to see it open back up somewhere, and it didn't. So I got to be realistic.
I love messing with you sometimes, Dago.
Oh,
You
it's
know,
all,
I
it's
did
that's
have
what
a
it's
thought
all
though.
about.
I
What's
did have a
that?
thought. I did have a thought though. They keep talking about like, but was it just an optical illusion? What if we are in the Matrix? Everything is a simulation, and we've just been programmed to think that all of these things are just optical illusions when they're actually glitches.
I feel like I'm in that every day in damn YouTube.
Yes. I agree with that one. It's a simulation. I keep telling myself that so I can understand why these people are so fucked up. Excuse my language, but yes. That's what I do daily. Oh, just saying. Very good point, though, Andy. Very good point. This is the number one. Good. And this is just the beginning, folks. So strap
Beyond the
in.
parallax effect. This
Number
phenomenon is
one.
certainly not one of a kind, but rather symbolizes a newfound fascination by many all across the internet. In a clip shared and reported on by the local news, a passenger airplane is captured hovering over a bridge in the Bay Area of California. It appears as if the aircraft is suspended in mid-air, unmoving, as the rest of the world moves around it. Take a look.
It's like something straight out of a
There it is.
sci-fi movie.
A
telling you.
plane appearing to hang in midair over San Francisco. Your eyes, they're not playing tricks on you. It's actually an optical illusion called the parallax effect. So when you're moving past another moving object and it appears to be stuck, the video has gone viral with some people calling it a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, I wonder if it's still there.
that dude.
That is exactly what the hell I saw. Just like
But
that.
they just explained what it was. Listen
Yeah,
again.
They explained it.
Listen again. There's a term.
Go all the way back, though.
We
gotta
can
hear
look
that
it
dude.
up. We can look it up and verify
Yeah.
if it's real.
There
It's
you
called
go.
it's called
I
the
wanna hear that dude
parallax
again.
effect. The parallax effect.
So the world moves around it. Take a look.
It's like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
A plane appearing to hang in midair.
Listen, folks. Whether it is, it's probably, they're right. I agree. It's got to be something logical. But please tell me that if you're driving down the road and you see this and it doesn't move, you're not going to kind of go like 32 times and go, what the hell am I looking at?
Oh, heck yeah. Because it's going to appear, because it will appear not to be moving. So, yeah, you're going to be like, what the hell?
Now, see, this is different because the people that are filming this are in a plane. I was in a car down below in the road watching this shit happen, and it wasn't moving. It's a little bit different and a little bit more dramatic to me. So,
What's
they did.
interesting is there's things that you can line it up with, like the bridge or the road. I can't tell. I'm on my phone, but whatever it's over, like you can
Yes.
line it up to see that it's not moving.
Nope. And this is what I think my buddy was trying to explain to me, but we were in a damn car that was going like 70 miles an hour as compared to 32,000 miles per hour in a damn airplane. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure they don't go that fast. I'm just saying.
They don't go anywhere near that fast.
Just trying to be melodramatic. But still, it doesn't make sense for that to be that way. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Barbara, good to see you, Miss Barbara. I hope you're having a great night tonight. It is crazy though. Very crazy. That's all I'm saying. And yes, they burst my bubble. You're right, Butterfly.
Over San Francisco, your eyes, they're not playing tricks on you. It's actually an optical illusion called the parallax effect. So when you're moving past another moving object and it appears to be stuck, the video has gone viral with some people calling it a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, I wonder if it's still there.
Even the announcers in the original news clip waste little time in explaining the phenomenon as a real optical illusion known as the parallax effect. The parallax effect occurs when you look at an object from different viewpoints and it appears to move relative to the background. In simpler terms, it's when you're in a car and you see objects closer to you passing by quickly, while objects in the distance seem to move more slowly. This happens because your eyes are at different positions as you move, so they see things from slightly different angles. However, many familiar with the parallax effect claim this is not a good example of the visual phenomenon. They point to the plane in the clip and highlight the fact that it's not moving at all, let alone at a slower pace than the person taking the video. It's low enough in the air and theoretically moving at a quick enough pace. We should see it at least fly over and across the bridge, While it may very well be true, the distance and speed of the plane is creating a bewildering example of the parallax effect. It's nearly impossible to convince our brain that's the truth. The image is incredibly unsettling and does seem to hint at something weird at play. Combine that with the fact that human flight and airplanes themselves shouldn't even exist, and all of the conspiracies circulating airplanes and chemtrails. It's not hard to believe the unbelievable. So what do you think about this one? So that's it for this video. We'd love to...
Well, we know what it is. So I looked at it through my special glasses and it didn't change. So it is what it is. The parallax effect. It's good to know. It's good to know. Good to know. So the next time you guys see an airplane that's just parked in midair,
It's totally fine, totally normal. Don't be concerned at all.
mm-hmm.
Everything's normal. It's fine. It's okay.
Of course. Of
It's
course.
fine.
All I see is Diego's moving his head with the glass. Yeah, well, I'm really, every time I see that, it blows my mind. Every time. No lie. All right. No, we're not going to look at that. So, we got some more of those to look at. Like I said, we're just getting started, folks. Aaron B, what's happening? Are you still here, Mom?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you awake, Kimber?
Yes.
Okay. Josh checking. All righty, here we go. Pay attention to the arrows, guys. Mr. Steve says, if you ever see me on a plane, it's officially a glitch, as I won't get on a flying Coke can. I'm right there with you, Mr. Steve.
Amen, Mr. Steve.
100%. The only thing you're going to see me flying on is my couch.
Yeah, I don't fly, period.
No, not at all.
Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm flying right now.
Well, that's a different
Okay, well, girlfriend.
different kind of flying. I don't, nope.
Yeah, I free fly, but I don't fly inside of an airplane up in the sky.
I cannot
My sister will, but I will not.
I cannot make myself believe that it's okay to do that. So I just won't do it.
Not enough medication in the world.
My biggest problem with that is the fact that I'm trapped inside a piece of metal that's midair with giant motors on it or engines pushing me across the sky. And I have a problem with the fact of how fast I'm going. If this can that I'm sitting in were to disappear, how fast I'd be flying through the air. Sorry, it doesn't work for me. So,
well, just think of all the airplanes that have mysteriously disappeared too.
No, that's a whole other story, folks. Whole other story.
Glitches? Is it a glitch? Is it a time warp? Is it a
time warp? They run into a rip in time, and they ended up in a whole other.
They went into a portal.
Yeah, there you go.
To a different dimension.
I've seen videos of that happening too, which I may have to show you one of these days.
Portals are real. Okay, this. Never mind.
I believe that YouTube is a portal.
Ain't it though? Jeez.
Portal into
That's
hell.
why you got a smudge. You don't want to go down that wrong portal. Jeez, Lord.
Right. Exactly. Mocha, welcome. My husband's uncle was an air traffic controller, and he and his wife won't get in an airplane. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah.
Damn. Okay, that just reconfirmed that I was right all along.
Yep. Oh yeah, the Bermuda Triangle. Absolutely. I do have a whole thing about the Bermuda Triangle that explains it, but it's doesn't still. I don't believe it. So anyway. All right, moving on.
You don't believe the Bermuda Triangle has crazy things happen? Or do you believe it was explained stuff?
I do believe it does, because it does have crazy things that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they try to say that it's all like rogue waves and methane bubbles causing everything. I'm like, maybe some of it, but not all of it.
Electro, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We'll look at that stuff too, because it does. They have the people that are on board with the glitch stuff have really, really laid out the Bermuda Triangle into the glitch zone and said that's really what it's all about. So it is what it is. We'll see. So moving forward, you got to pay attention to some of these really close to catch what they're doing. They usually show you, but let's see. Let me know if you can or can't hear it, by the way.
Other passengers nearby rushed at the spot to lend their hand, but were left.
It started before me. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Oh, no. We're not going to look at him. All right, here we go.
There are times when it simply doesn't. From jaw-dropping miracles to very bizarre incidents, here are some of the scary glitches and eerie encounters that will creep you out. Miracle on rail track. For a human being to survive a fall like that would be divine intervention. This CCTV footage, taken on September 9th, 2015, at the Borivali station platform in Mumbai, shows a man who falls onto the tracks of a moving train while attempting to catch it. Other passengers nearby rushed at the spot to lend their hand, but were left speechless upon seeing the fallen passenger rise without any injuries. With the train already on the move, there's no way he could have gotten under it. Also, with little to no space between the train and the platform, this is truly a case of divine intervention.
I'm going to start my diet tomorrow.
Because I need to be as skinny as that dude to survive something like that. Because that has to be what happened with him. He must have been so thin that he hugged that wall and it just went right past. That's the only way he couldn't have got. But there's like a vacuum under those when they're moving like that. You would think would kind of pull him under, don't you?
I don't know. I just think he's very lucky.
I think so. Yeah, he must have he's lucky.
He popped
divine intervention.
100%. He popped right back up like, "Hey, y'all, I'm good."
He popped right back up. He's like, "Yeah, right." He got up and walked away.
Probably had a hell of an adrenaline rush. I'd be popping out of there too.
I guarantee you had to go home and change his underwear. I'll say that much. I know I would have.
Headless man. Wait, did I really say that? A man without a head. And that too, walking alive? How on earth is this possible? This video, caught by a man while driving on a busy road, shows a person walking on the pavement without their head visible on camera. While many people are not believing it, some say it might be possible based on a myth, which says that headless people have existed in history. So is this really a mythical man visiting us? Or is there no truth to this video? What do you think?
That's substances.
Teleported dog.
That was probably either he was holding his head down or it was just somebody faked that, whatever.
The headless horseman was always real, I thought, when I was growing up. Because my grandma and grandpa said he was real. So
Right. Yeah,
could be just a headless dude walking around.
That was definitely crazy. Virginia says that he went under a platform and filmed the train and there's no vacuum. Well, that's interesting to know then.
That's crazy.
It is.
There was a headless chicken. There was a fameless chicken.
Well, chickens will run around with their head cut off for real.
Oh, this was a chicken that lived for like months.
Oh.
It was a
some of these things are obviously going to be hoaxes, folks, and some of these things are gonna be, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is purely entertainment that we're doing this. But for a lot of this stuff, there's true beliefs that people out there that are true believers that the world is built as a matrix and we're living in a simulation per se. And it is what it is. So some people believe it, some people don't. Of course, I look for the logical, scientific explanation to everything. That's just who I am. But
well, think of it this way. Us as a human species, as we have evolved, what kinds of things have we done? We created a game like The Sims.
Yeah.
What if there's something that is a more evolved version of us?
It's very possible.
And we are their Sims.
Yeah. 100%.
Some people actually believe that's what's.
Yes.
That is what's happening.
Listen, how many? Or Virginia says it was scary. I held onto a chain link fence in fear, but there was no vacuum. Well, I'm glad you're okay, Virginia, and that's crazy to hear, though. Welcome, Aces and Tomboy. Good to see you guys. So, some of this stuff, like, I don't know. I don't know. Some of these things are going to be camera tricks, like I said, but you just never know, guys. You just never know. I mean, okay, for instance, what is the movie? It's a Dr. Seuss story based on a movie, or a movie based on a story that Dr. Seuss wrote about, like is it the Lorax? One of those movies, but they're inside a molecule, okay, and it's a whole world inside this one little molecule.
Well, Whoville is inside of the snowflake.
Yeah, Whoville is inside of a snowflake, which is itty bitty, teeny weeny, so on and so forth. I'm sorry, Horton Hears a Who was the one, not the Lorax. Well, I think the Lorax was too, but either way, there's a whole world inside of a molecule. You know what I mean?
When you watch Men in Black and they're looking
for
the
this galaxy is in the necklace.
Yeah.
The galaxy is on Orion's belt, and it was a cat collar, a little charm on the cat's collar. And then at the end, you see an alien shooting marbles with it, with like all these other galaxies. So it's possible.
And the theory behind it is quite interesting, isn't it? To think about all of that in this tiny little. It's crazy. It is so crazy. Moving forward.
If the dog teleported or spawned in the middle of the motorway a second too early, it could have ended badly. In January 2015, footage of 2 race cars was being recorded on an empty motorway in Chile, and a dog randomly appeared as soon as the vehicle zipped past the cameraman. The video clearly shows that the dog just mysteriously appeared on the road.
That clearly has to be a camera glitch, period. There's no other way to explain that. Like, the dog was probably there. It just, the shutter rate may not have matched up with it, and it appeared after the fact.
I didn't see the video because I'm having a glitch with my interwebs.
Hold on, I'll do it again.
In January 2015, footage of 2 race cars was being recorded on an empty motorway in Chile, and a dog randomly appeared as soon as the vehicle zipped past the cameraman. The video clearly shows that the dog just mysteriously appeared on the road as if teleported or spawned. Where did it come from? If it were in the middle of the road to begin with, it's incredible that both cars were able to dodge the dog.
That's a skinwalker.
Eerie.
What's that?
That's a skinwalker.
It could be whatever you need it to be. Depends on how you see it. And how did they not hit the dog? That's another good point. So,
well, Skinwalker would explain it.
Yeah, very true. Glitter says sometimes cameras will take short video at increments instead of constantly to save your bat. That's what I was talking about, like the shutter rate on it being like, yeah, that's kind of what I meant. Hey, Drifty, welcome. Your sister's here, Mom. Good points. It is crazy to see these things, though. It messes with our eyes for sure and our minds to boot. So,
Hi, Drifty.
On we go.
A ghost who settles things by breaking glasses? Well, clearly he's got some well-managed anger issues. Security cameras at the New Wellington pub in Newmarket, UK, have several times caught footage of a ghost who randomly smashes pint glass into pieces every now and again. The owners...
So this video has things in it other than like what they're considering to be matrix glitches, just so you guys know ahead of time.
I might be able to explain the exploding glasses.
Okay.
If they're hot and fresh out of the washing machine, and then you pour cold beer into it immediately.
That has happened. I have heard of that happening. Yes, very true. For places that actually wash their dishes, yes. Because a lot of them, they put them in they put them in those enclosed dishwashers that steam them to sterilize
Yeah.
them and take them out of there. You pour something cold, yeah, they'll blow. That's fact. I've done that at home with a dishwasher. It didn't explode, but it just kind of crumbled in my hand. So yes. Moving on.
See, I can be smart sometimes.
Absolutely.
To install the cameras, hoping to find that cause, but only managed to record a few more glasses smashing for seemingly no reason at all. With the incidents occurring so often, it almost shows that the pub is haunted by ghosts who happen to have a special kind of hatred for glasses. With it not having escalated its temper, it's definitely very interesting. Glitching cat. If the floor wasn't too slippery or moving like the treadmill, the only verdict remains that the cat might be caught in a glitchy matrix. A shopkeeper in Yokohama, Japan was startled to see a cat who attempted to walk but didn't seem to move forward, almost as if it were walking over a treadmill. Seconds into the recording, another man interrupts the cat curiously, making it move as it normally should. As the man walks away, the cat starts to glitch once again. Either the cat is doing it on purpose to enjoy the slippery floor.
Molly, that you?
Did somebody teach this cat how to moonwalk or what?
Yeah.
Now,
That's
that's got to
awesome.
be a very smooth surface is all I can think of, because that is crazy.
Well, it looks like one.
I thought it was an escalator at first. You know, like that moving floor or something, like a treadmill.
Yeah.
Seems to be like
that-
Like
it, whatever it is.
there you go.
I mean, I
There you
don't
go.
why
Hold
the hell
on,
would
y'all.
it be in there,
Hold
but
on. Hold on.
just saying.
Your description of the escalator,
One of them things, yeah. That's what I mean,
that thing on the floor that moves.
yeah. I couldn't think of what it was, like escalator or like the, you know what I mean, like on a treadmill.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, as I'm having that thought on this side of my brain, this side's going, why in the hell would there be a treadmill escalator on the outside of a building like that? It didn't, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't turn. There's no ending part or whatever. Anyway, moving on. This is crazy.
Or the cat is actually glitching.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Stop. I just caught it. Hold on.
What is it?
This is a loop. Somebody looped this. That's what this is.
Okay.
Hold on.
Like Bridge Guy.
Yes, this is exactly.
Damn.
Watch for a minute, guys. Watch very closely.
To glitch once again. Either the cat is doing it on purpose to
Right
enjoy
here.
the slippery floor, or the cat is actually.
You can tell it's looped.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Damn
See,
it,
that's
them
what I'm
damn
saying.
looped.
Some of these,
I'm over
some of
looped
these-
videos. No more.
that's all this is a looped video of the cat trying to walk, period.
I cannot make a good assessment on a damn looped video.
If you watch the cat's head, it stays in the same position and it goes right back to the same position every time. I pay attention, folks. I pay attention.
Actually glitching. Family dog spirit.
They tried it.
Since most animals are able to see spirits, perhaps the new pet may have been playing with the family's deceased dog. A Florida man, while checking out the camera of his newly purchased cell phone, sighted a shadow of a mysterious spirit-like figure that passed next to him, which immediately baffled him. Upon reviewing the footage, he noticed the spirit to have a similar shape to that of a dog, and since the Florida man recently had one of his pet dogs passing away, he believes that this spirit was of the family dog that still lives with them.
Now, I've seen a lot of photographs where that has happened in videos. It's up to what you believe in, is all I can say on that one.
I got nothing against a spirit dog.
I mean,
I don't have
they-
nothing against him either. I buy that one.
listen, as far as ghosts are considered, I believe in energy. Okay,
I do too.
a dog,
That one I would believe totally.
a dog is a human, or is it? Sorry, not human. A dog is a living, breathing thing. Okay, and it had its own
Sentient
energy
being
for
with
years,
consciousness.
and it's just like anything else. A residual scenario. If a dog, my dog, this little guy right here, was 18 years he lived with us, okay? And he did the same things every day for 18 years. So that energy is there, in my opinion. So it's very possible that that energy is still motivated. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. All right, Molly. Let me see. Hold on. I didn't get it yet, Molly. I'll go back after this one. Oh, wait a minute. What happened here?
Panel takeover.
Woohoo! Panel takeover.
Woohoo! Sing,
Panel
Mom.
takeover.
Should I sing?
Let's sing a song.
Oh,
What are we gonna
should
sing? What are we gonna sing?
The only thing I can remember is It's a Bitsy Spider.
Okay, let's do it. Kick it off.
It's my
Are we gonna sing in the round?
my Danielle Calavante song is the only one, or however the hell you say his name.
Okay, I'll hum.
The Itsy Spider up the prison wall. Down came the rain and chased away the wall. Out came the sun and dried up all the fun. But the Itsy Spider is still on the run.
Don't ask me what happened. My ghost is here again, so.
You glitched. There you go.
Oh, you had a Matrix
Fucking
glitch.
glitch.
It's this stupid YouTube stuff. I don't know what it
It's the
is.
Matrix.
Huh?
It's the Matrix.
Okay, if you say so.
Glitch.
Why would YouTube glitch you and not all of us?
Thank you. That's a
I have
great point.
questions.
Let me
We
fix
have to
it.
investigate now.
Yes, we can. We can. You can't destroy energy. That's very true, Michelle. It's there till it's gone. That's how that works.
Oh, I can mute it.
Well, you could do that, yes, but especially the negativity. All right, so no
I
more.
can raise it. I can lower it. I can match it.
All right, frozen in field. Let's see what this is. I didn't get it yet, Molly. No.
Frozen in field. Maybe Professor Charles Xavier was nearby and seeing someone important enough to pause everyone. A family living in the holiday cottage in Troutbeck in the Lake District of England were puzzled to find hundreds of sheep standing frozen still in the field for several hours. At first, they thought that the sheep were sensing some sort of danger, while some thought that they were hypnotized. But upon the footage getting viral, a shepherd commented that the reason for the sheep remaining frozen in place for several hours could mostly be due to a change in weather. Motionless bird.
Yeah, that
Like
one's
that.
explainable. I've raised
Yeah.
goats my entire life. If there's a storm or something coming and they sense it, they will freeze. And you could see in the video
That's it.
their ears were still moving.
That's
Yeah.
a normal behavior. That's
Yeah,
very normal
I've heard of
behavior.
that.
That is definitely weird, though. You got to say that.
Even those
It's
those
weird.
other goats that live up in the mountains, they'll freeze. A lot of goats do
Yeah.
that shit. It's just what
Goats
they do.
are strange animals anyway.
That's what
Completely.
they do, man. They freeze.
Sure enough. So this is to be another glitch here with this motionless bird that I've heard about before.
Recently, a bird near the LA Matheson Secondary School was seen standing still in the middle of the air, while it was completely motionless. With it remaining stationary for several hours, puzzled many onlookers as this video started to become viral. Before an animal rescue team could arrive on the scene to inspect the cause closely, this motionless feathered animal was long gone. The fact that the bird stopped moving and gravity failed to act clearly shows that this was a sort of glitch in reality.
It's a drone.
It's on a wire. Got hung up on something.
But there was nothing there. That's what I was looking for. That was weird. One bird. See, these things weird me out sometimes. Oh, here we go with another airplane.
Plane hovering. A commercial airliner was seen hovering in air just as that bird was glitching in Surrey, Canada.
This is exactly how I saw what I saw. No lie. We know what it is now. I'm just saying. But this is how I saw what I saw too.
In March 2018, a man, while leaving an airport near Dallas, saw this plane that was inbound for landing, but despite several minutes passing, remained exactly in its position. With it happening in broad daylight, he could easily make out that the plane was hovering. What do you think could be the leading cause for something like this to happen? Do share with us your opinion down in the comments. Magical briefcase. Either this is the case of a theatrical performance, or the briefcase is magical. Footage taken in 2020 of then-Chancellor Rishi Sunak after a budget meeting showing his magical color-changing briefcase. At first, the briefcase looks in a bright green color that within a couple of seconds changes into dark brown just by itself. Seeing the manner of how it is presented shows that this clearly isn't your regular type of briefcase. Perhaps there's some sort of timer, and that it may be made of transferable layers, which actually plays the trick. Odd cat. It's not.
That's some kind of a novelty thing, in my opinion. That briefcase thing. It's the only way that makes any sense to me.
Yeah, they make fabrics that are like color changing depending on the light.
Right.
From one angle, it'll look purple. The other angle,
Weather,
green.
air, yeah. What's that? There's a paint. I had a paint on my car, my Camaro, that did that light. Like it looked
DuPont.
purple.
It's DuPont paint. They're the ones that made it.
Yeah, it was something that when I had the car painted, it looked purple in some light and had a blue color like in some light, and it was weird. I don't know what the hell it was, but
I have a bunch of nail polishes that do it. Like
there you go.
There's all kinds of things that you can
Yeah, color shift type. That's kind of like what it was.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
Not just us humans who may have tricks hidden up our sleeves. A cat managed to trick the recorder of this video into thinking it was a depressed-looking dog just using its ideal black fur. When the recorder continuously kept calling off the assumed dog, the cat shocked him by revealing its final form. The same cat can later be seen acting as if it were a human being. It stands on just two of his hind legs, moves towards the table, and climbs in a manner as if it were possessed by a human being.
Hell no. That cat would not live in my house. I'm sorry.
It was trained to do that.
That's weird. Sorry. That's just
It's
creepy.
creepy. Imagine getting up in the middle of the night to pee and seeing that in your hall.
Yeah,
Be
you
like,
go.
oh hell no.
The cat comes walking out of the bathroom like, nope, you're out. Bye. It wasn't you, Molly. You sure? Okay.
Teleporting child.
Oh jeez.
Now, there isn't much panic in the girl proves that the girl is either in control or in on it. A footage taken by a random source somewhere in India shows a woman who was casually passing through an empty land by the road, who suddenly had a child appear next to her. If you watch the video closely, you can see that the woman is actually expecting the little girl to appear by the manner of how she readies her hand before the girl appears, almost as if she's summoning the little girl. With little to no reaction from either of them, it clearly shows that this isn't their first time. Ghost.
So that area where the child appears is kind of blurry and more pixelated than the rest of the video, if that makes any sense. Like the pixels are bigger in that area, which would usually say that it was edited, but it also could just be a camera glitch.
Well, that or some
Well-
form of Photoshop.
If not only that, if you notice, one time the little girl appears on the left side, and one time she appears on the right side.
They've just been doing that with the videos. They play it one way and then play it reverse.
Oh,
They invert them, yeah, so you can see it.
okay,
on both
but
sides. But yeah, it's still that's Photoshop or
that's
something.
very Photoshop.
To me, I say Photoshop just because of the size of the pixels being
Right.
different than from the rest of the picture.
Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Saves girl. Just by seeing the moving vehicles, you can know that this most certainly was no glitch in the recording of the camera. In June 2017, a security camera on a street in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, captured footage showing a moment of a miracle. A mysterious man with a superhuman speed, or a ghost, came running super fast to save a little girl just in time before a fast-approaching vehicle could hit her. Within a millisecond after the girl is saved, this super-fast Good Samaritan immediately disappears into the dark of night. Skinwalker attack?
The Flash is real, y'all. He's real.
That's all I was gonna say. That's
Uh-huh.
obviously some kind of camera shit, or the Flash, one of the two.
Skinwalker.
A lot of these things are camera glitches. I'm telling you guys, it's pretty evident how, because you can see the frame jumps. So
Camera glitch or Matrix glitch?
whatever you want to call it. Skinwalker attacking. Oh boy, this should be fun.
In woods. When you hear something spooky like this, you may want to avoid letting curiosity get the better of you. A driver was passing through the countryside of Arkansas when he stopped near a forest to stretch his legs. Minutes later, he could repeatedly hear a weird yet terrifying humming sound. Thinking that there could be a nearby village or cabin, he began looking around for the source of the sound. At this point, a skinny, fast-moving skinwalker creature out of the blue was rushing towards the driver. From the longs of the video making it to the internet, the driver probably survived. Alien Scout.
Hoax?
Real Skinwalker or fake?
I have
I
issues.
don't know.
I have issues with the Skinwalker thing because it's not normal to me. So I'm, I don't know what
Well-
the hell it was, but
I mean, a
If
lot
you
of
really
those
look
videos,
into the history of skinwalkers, it goes way back, like
Yeah.
to
guys,
Native Americans.
You
Yeah.
see a
It's
lot
the
of
Native American. Because I'm thinking where that was, depending, I don't know if that was a skinwalker, like going back with it, because I'm tying it with Native American stuff, type things around those areas. So that's made me wonder, really skinwalker or something different.
right. Excuse me for 1 second, and we'll move on to the next track here.
I love Skinwalker Ranch, by the way.
it seems like a really interesting place, but I don't think I would actually want to go there.
I might. There's definitely something out there.
Sorry, I lost connection again. I missed everything you said.
Oh. I just said there's definitely something out there. It's Skinwalker Ranch areas and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is you see a lot of videos that people say are skinwalkers, but you can tell that it's, a bear or something with mange. This one this one did not move like a bear or something like that,
No, it wasn't bear. Not at all.
Yeah, it did not move like
It
normal
reminded me.
wildlife.
It reminded me kind of like a monkey.
Right, yeah. Orangutan type.
It was
Right.
definitely humanoid.
Mm-hmm.
It was very strange.
Oh, okay, Miss Sherry. There you go. The Matrix is glitching. So this next one is supposedly an alien scout. Where is Dago? Where is Dago? Here. I'm here. Don't worry. All right, off we go.
Considering all those UFO sightings over the scales of decades, sightings of aliens was long overdue. A group of friends banded together for camping next to the Big Bear Lake in California when a tiny, possum-like animal interrupted them. It made a sudden appearance that left everyone freaked out. Seeing only a glimpse of this being, they reported that it looked quite similar to that of fictional character Dobby from the Harry Potter movies, except that it was a bit too green. With nothing making sense of the incident, it is being considered an alien being who has been sent to scout human beings.
Anybody?
I don't know what the hell that little creepy thing was.
He's cute. You don't have to worry about them until they ask you to bend over.
Glowing-eyed mummy chase. Certainly no human can run that fast while being covered in mummy fabric, let alone having a glowing set of
No,
eyes.
fuck no.
It's a fucking zombie,
A manly
no!
figure appeared in the dark that was sprinting parallel to them. It attempted to get as close
Damn.
as it possibly could, which also revealed its physical form. It was covered like a mummy, who also had its eyes glowing, not to mention the incredible speed.
I was about to say.
Spotted it in time and managed to speed away. Just by seeing the footage, you can know that this certainly could not be a human, but a real-life mummy.
Not mummy alien, but that damn thing was fast.
That's a computer program thing.
Dago, come on.
There is
Let me
no
have-
way in hell anything was moving that fast. That thing was. That dude was peeing all over. That happened. Sorry. Bath salts. Thank you. Yeah, right. There you go. There you go.
He just wants to eat
Dago,
your
I don't
face.
think that was a computer program. I'm sorry.
I don't.
I just listen.
Salty, we need to consult on this one, okay?
Possibly could.
It's a zombie.
It was covered like a mummy, who also had its eyes glowing, not to mention the incredible speed. Luckily, the driver spotted it in time and managed to speed away. Just by seeing the footage, you can know that this certainly could not be a human, but a real-life mummy.
Why can't it just be an alien?
I think it's just a methed out naked dude.
I mean, what
True
the hell?
that.
Why was he all red then?
I
Sunburn?
think it was the tail lights of the vehicle are making him look red.
He was trying to get more of his stuff. Maybe he thought he had it. Who knows? I don't know anymore. There's so many crazy ass people out here, guys. Who knows? Moving on. Maybe it was Halloween. That could have been too. It did look like a video game to me. That's why I said it was a computer thing, but who knows? No answer. No answer.
Jungle Highway Crawler. Unless this crawler has some super speed or super strength, which it seemingly doesn't, it probably wouldn't last long. Recently, a transporter who was passing through a dense forest in Chile stumbled onto a naked-looking crawler that looked to be blocking the road. Physically, it looked to be quite weak and skinny, as if it were a mere frame of a skeleton. It had a very bleak-looking face and grayish hair. The driver reported that since it was much slower than him, he was able to steer clear of it, since the crawler was eager to get closer. Whether it was actually in distress, the driver didn't want to take a chance and reacted by turning around for an alternate route and was criticized by many for that decision.
I'm pretty sure that was like a victim of trafficking running away. That was a human.
Could have been
And
real. Yeah.
Seemed like she was
Yeah.
like injured.
But it also could have been a decoy.
Yeah.
Well, the way she
to
was
try to
crawling
get
on the
people to
ground.
pull over. But yeah, she
But they will still
that was a person.
I understand that she's forced to go out there and do that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're laying in wait. It happens all the time, and especially in third world countries.
If they
Oh,
wait
yeah.
for you to pull over to help the person
And
and
then-
then they
Yeah.
attack you.
3 other people
Yes.
jump out and rob you.
Mhm.
Right. That's very possible. Very possible.
Floating leaf. A leaf such as this is just as the old saying goes, light as a feather. 2 old friends, while catching up with each other, noticed a leaf that was constantly floating in midair while moving through the woods in Minsk, Belarus. The leaf remained stationary and perfectly in the middle of the air with little to no breeze. It appeared to be magical and unbelievable at the same time, so much that they decided to capture the moment on camera. Looks like the leaf was a bit too light against the air, which kept it afloat. Frozen fish.
Spider web.
What's going on?
At first, it may seem like these fishes aren't real, until you look closely. A visitor at the Ripley's Aquarium in Canada was shocked to see dozens of fishes that suddenly froze within the aquarium and she decided to record it, and somehow managed to stay afloat within their position. As the video got enough traction, a local marine biologist commented that fish usually freeze due to a number of reasons, from simply just resting, to stress, overcrowded tanks, and poor water conditions. Since the aquarium has taken all the necessary precautions, this matter remains unsolved.
Well, he kind of explained it himself. That was so crazy looking.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it's definitely weird.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jules. Welcome.
Ghost in a crib. The old saying of catch 'em while they're young is probably what that ghost had in practice here. An Ohio couple bought a crib from a yard sale for their baby, which somehow happened to be haunted by a ghost. They reported numerous disturbances during the night while the couple were asleep, so much that they decided to place cameras pointing at the crib from different angles. Upon reviewing their footage, they were shocked to discover paranormal activity that was spotted around the baby. At first, they noticed huge human hands appearing from the bottom of the crib, which would disturb the baby. On another instance, a shadowy figure could be seen moving under the crib. Haunted store.
Hell no. What the hell was that?
A hoax. They did
Was
that on
it?
purpose. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
That was just them trying to get a video on YouTube. That's all. But to use the baby, that's pretty crazy, you know?
Yeah, that's just messed up.
That's a little crazy. I'm sorry. Haunted store, of course.
A storage room from a convenience store in New Orleans, Louisiana, is believed to have been taken over by a supernatural entity or a ghost. The staff reported that whenever the room would be entered for restocking the store shelves, checking inventory, or even storing fresh supplies, the spirit within the room would always react in an aggressive manner by tossing goods at them. However, none of the staff have complained of any serious cases of damage or injuries, but these encounters would be often terrifying for new employees. Seeing the state of how peaceful the storage room may seem, and that it has all the supplies, perhaps the invisible force decided to take residence and hates its peace being disturbed.
Now that
Yeah, it seems real.
sure as hell does, especially the cart doing its thing.
I just laughing at the video of the dude running and the boxes being thrown on him.
I mean,
He's a hauling ass. He was trying
like,
to
I'm
get
out
out
of here. No, you ain't getting knocked down by the box one last fall.
No, you ain't.
That was funny. I mean, I feel bad for him, but it was still
Yeah,
the
that
cart.
must have been terrifying, but the video is hilarious.
The cart thing is what got me, but yeah, that looked like it could be real. I'll be honest with you.
Grandpa in window. An unearthly moment was captured when a mother of 5 caught a shadow or a ghost of her deceased dad on the window of her home in Liverpool. At first, she thought that someone could be standing right outside the window, which was immediately ruled out when she pulled back the curtain and found no one, which left her startled. Since the shadow emerged coincidentally, just as she was sharing happy memories of her late father Terence with her eldest daughter, Natalie, she started believing that it most certainly could be him. Terence.
That is wicked.
Well, it could be him.
I mean, that's pretty wild.
Are we sure it's not something just like a silhouette painted on the blinds?
Yeah, could be that too.
I mean, yeah, a lot of the people hoax these things for YouTube, folks. That's fact, but that's pretty
Well,
wild.
that's why now I'm jumping to like, how could they fake it?
Mm-hmm. That's what I always do. I'm a high skeptic with all these things. I got one for you. My father-in-law just passed, which I know, and I'm sorry again. I haven't hubby heard knock knock, and it's loud since we bought our house from him. I think he's here because it was his favorite. That's very possible. At least you know he's protecting you, you know?
That's a good kind of haunting.
Yeah. That's a good deal. When my father passed away, it was 5 a.m. I think I felt something standing at the foot of my bed later. I've heard that story 100,000 different times, Mittens. Like, a lot of people have said that. So, that's crazy, though. Wild stuff, guys. What did Glitter say? When 100% file for unemployment and site failure to disclose, laugh out loud. They did not tell me it was haunted. There you go. There you go. This one's pretty interesting, though, because, like I said, you could have shaded the blinds to look like that with pencil or something, like a charcoal or something to make it look that way. When she moves the blind, though, is what weirds me out.
It's expired in 2009 due to a stroke while suffering from pneumonia. Open Sesame.
And Mac, the door's just opened on its own.
This is probably the nicest ghost ever to be encountered by anyone. Paranormal investigator Chris Geyers was astonished while exploring a reported activity at the 16th floor of Croxteth Hall in Liverpool to find a spirit that looked to be very polite. It would open and close a wine cellar door upon command. The video started with the door opening on its own, and an investigator can be heard saying, "Hello." Soon after, Chris says to shut the door for us, and within a fraction of a second, the door spookily appears to shut on its own. The encounter has led him to believe that this could possibly be the spirit of a butler. Shady cryptid. Initially, this may seem like a monkey of some kind, but if you look around, there aren't any trees around. A hiker passing through a trail in a woodland area somewhere in Nebraska noticed this shady cryptid-looking entity that was stalking him. It appeared from behind the bushes and kept following him to an extent that he decided to check it out closely. At this point, the shady stalker got up on its hind legs and also revealed its terrifying face while it began to chase. The recorder managed to outpace him and described it to have a beastly appearance, which the onlookers of the video nicknamed as the Shady Cryptid.
It's a badger.
A badger?
Mhm.
Okay, there you go.
It looks
It
like
look-
a
it
weird
did look
creepy
like
face on
something,
it because
but-
of the markings that they have on their faces.
Mm-hmm. I can see that, yeah. Interesting.
Invisible Rider. Security camera recorded a man offloading office supplies from his van in the Washington, D.C. area when something quite weird happened. A scooter rider passed by the back of his van and disappeared soon after. According to the man, the rider went completely silent after passing by the van. With the man thinking that this was probably some kind of an attempted robbery, he immediately came to intervene, but was left even more astonished as the rider randomly disappeared into the air, almost as if put on an invisibility cloak.
What the hell?
I don't know about that one.
If the guy would not have responded and looked at the guy or looked for the guy, that would have been, I would have thought, like a camera problem or something. But
Or
The
even
dude-
that
the
it was
other-
faked, but if it was faked, it was pretty elaborate. That they
the other dude stepped back looking for him. Like, where you
Yeah.
at? That was weird. Hey, Groot, welcome. Good to have you here tonight. That was different, for sure. Makes you think.
Yeah, that was very strange.
Mm-hmm.
And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This picture and video was captured recently, where the recorder mentioned coming across several of these black-covered entities who seem to be following him. With a church nearby, the recorder initially thought that these were an increasing number of nuns, until they were seen several times again while driving. This made him feel as if he was being followed by something evil, especially when he found out that no one else could see them. He decided to take his camera out, hoping to capture the footage, when he captured an even stranger figure. If you happen to have more information, do share it in the comments. Streamer
How
haunted.
does he know that nobody else could see them?
That's my question. And if that's true, bro, you better go put yourself in a hospital somewhere, because that ain't. Well, here's the thing:
Get
if
a lot
nobody
of
else
holy
could
water.
see them, then how did we see them?
That would mean that it was something paranormal.
I mean, yeah, but
In which case, I'd say you need to go back to that church.
something ain't right with that. That's crazy. What channel is this? It's kind of like Slapped Ham a little bit. A lot of this stuff has been hoaxed, I'm sure. But there's one in every 5 or 10 that makes you go, so it is what it is.
Even the faked ones are still fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. And that's what we're doing, guys. We're just having fun tonight. So either way, I like stopping and talking about it and getting everybody's ideals and making my stupid faces when I'm confused. So,
The ghost probably wanted some human fan following as well. Rubsy, who is an online streamer, was at his friend's place when something completely bizarre started to happen while streaming. A door in the background can be seen opening slowly until it slams shut abruptly, all by itself. With the streamer being alone in the apartment, having only his friend's pet cat is what started to terrify him the most. Soon after this, the lights began turning on and off as Rubsy gets up to start to investigate the lights, which then start to dim and turn off without warning. As he returns back to talk to his viewing fans and friends and trying to make sense of the situation, a box on the table behind him slowly starts to move and eventually falls to the floor. At this point, Rubsy has pretty much lost it and had given in that something supernatural was living with him in the apartment.
So I remember when that happened, I wasn't watching him, but I remember like paranormal channels talking about it.
That reminds me of a poltergeist.
Well, eventually his buddy came out and admitted to them faking it, I believe, if it's the one I'm thinking.
See, that makes me mad because some of these you look at it and you're like, damn, that's really actually. Oh, you did? Okay, pissed off. You know what I mean?
I was fixing to say it was his roommate.
I mean, at first with the door slamming, I was like, well, anybody can do that. It is what it is. But then you see the chair moving and the light things. And it's like, well, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it was, something that the friend had helped. And then, you know how some of these
of course
boys on the internet are. They have these little spats and they have little arguments and one turns on the other. And the friend came out and was like,
kind of like T-Rev and Smoke.
I was just going to say that.
I wasn't going to say it, but
I'll say it.
Yeah, all you got to do is tie some fishing line, tie that to the bottom of the chair, stand around the corner, pull the fishing line, the chair moves, things like that. We've done that before. Now we have the tree. Watch the tree, everybody. This one. I remember this one. I'd love for somebody to explain this one to me.
Tree in car. This is the same case as the question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? The question goes, a scientifically unexplainable video was posted by a random source showing a car in the middle of a street, which has a tree piercing through it. As you can see, the green seems to have somehow pierced through the driver's seat all the way through the roof. Seeing the tree has fully grown with a huge set of branches full of leaves, and the car looking good as new. Either this is a case of a glitch in the Matrix, or that the tree suddenly shot through the body of a car.
I think it's a really well done art installation.
Very possibly.
I mean, if that is the case, it was very well done.
I mean, the tree was in the ground and the leaves, I don't know what the hell, how they did that, but yes. You can tell Molly gets freaked out by these things with the faces she puts up.
I mean, you would have to be able to take apart the car and then rebuild it back up around the tree.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I have no problem playing them, Glitter. That's what it's all about. The tree may not have been. Yeah, that's what I was just wondering, Crimson, is if the tree was just sitting on the ground. You know what I mean? As if they put it through there to make it look like it was rooted, but it really wasn't. I don't know. We'll see.
I'd be curious to know what the area looked like before. Just to see, like, was that tree always there, or is it part of an installation?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we have more of these things coming, but Leslie said she sent a couple of videos, so we'll check them out. Let me see if Molly's email came through too. Oh, okay. So I see that. Molly's. Oh, I got to download it first. Hold on. I'll catch up, guys. Bear with me. What the hell is this? Oh, okay.
Thank you, Molly.
This is why I told you guys Molly is perpetually a cat. Period. There's just no two ways about it. Anything we can do, she'll find a way to make a cat do it. So, thank you, Molly. All right, now, let's see here. That was cute. Okay, play first, second, and third. Ah, okay. Oh, I gotta download it first, and then this here. Okay, so we're supposed to pick. Lord, it's quick. Hold on. 1 second. Supposed to watch this one first. All right, let's see here. It's a pretty tree. Okay, so that's the first one. This is an angel tree, she said. All right. And moving on to the second one. Hold on. The second one. Okay, same tree. And we're off. You guys see that moving around?
On that dress.
You guys see the little dot moving?
You can see they're fading in and out.
Oh, yeah, they are.
They're getting brighter. They normally don't do that. And it's all connected, so there's no reason that one part would do it and one wouldn't. And it's been blinking like completely on and off. And sometimes it's been blinking rapidly. There, check that out. Is that crazy?
It's called a short.
Is that what it is, Glitter? That's a pretty tree, though. Could there be a short in the lights, maybe?
Taken back out. It never does that, ever.
Let's see. Moving on to the next one. Oh, hold on. All right. Number 3. That's definitely interesting. And Okay. Let's see what we got here for this one. What happened? Where did it go? I just had it here. Just sit still. Try it again. That was strange. What the hell? Why does that do that? I've downloaded it 3 times now. Every time I go to download it, the picture's there. And when I go to show it to you guys, it goes right back to the download. Can you guys see that at all?
Nope.
No.
Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay. That was weird. Okay.
It's a glitch.
And off we go. That's interesting. Well, she was saying that her father-in-law had passed recently, and she thinks maybe that could be him doing something with that never had any problems before. That's a really pretty tree, though. I got to say that much. I've never seen anything like that.
I would just say if it happens again, start asking questions, like yes or no questions, and ask if it can flash once for yes and twice for no and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the best way to get it.
If it can respond, then it definitely could be.
If not, it might be some form of a short, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it is definitely fun, Glitter. Absolutely. Definitely. That's a beautiful tree, though. I like how you put that together. It always has that peak on it. It only has the white lights. They're all connected together, made into the tree. So I don't know. Good point. Very good point. Absolutely. She said, "Oh yeah, I definitely talked to it for sure. That's why I believe it's my dad and possibly my grandbaby who passed away." Oh, I'm so sorry. The dates and the things that I have said. I got you now. Okay. I did Aces. I was gonna look that up real quick for you. 1 second. And then we'll jump back to some more of this glitching stuff. Gotcha. All right. 1 second. You still with us, Mom?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. This is on who was it that asked me to put this up here? Ace's mama. This is her recommendation. And I like taking those when we do the paranormal thing throughout. Whatever we're doing, I will take something from you guys anytime to throw up for you guys. So this is called, am I pronouncing it right? Bastille? The Bastille? Or is it Bastille? I think it's Bastille. Ghost hunters were here investigating it. Not the, okay, gotcha. It really is pretty, Crimson. I agree. Never seen anything like that before. So this is the Bastille in Old Hanford, California. It's in a jail. Let's see what we got here.
Look at all the pennies on the floor. My uncle, when he was a kid, he remembers during the homecoming parade, looking up here and seeing prisoners looking out these windows, watching the parade, because there were cells along here originally. Sometimes on this wall, see, you can see where they've signed their names in the big carved into the brick. Yeah, these are the solitary confinement cells. I don't know what you have to do to get into the solitary confinement cells, but they're not very big. They got the bars on the top, as you can see. So I'm sure it wasn't a pleasant place to be. No?
Hang on, there's more. To that. I had never heard of that before, so I found the quickest thing I could. Let's see here. This is I guess a ghost hunt that was done inside this facility as well.
We are visitors from all over California who come here to see if there's any of you from the time that this was a jail and a courthouse, and if any of you are still around, can you speak to us?
Good night, Barbara.
Have a great night, Barbara. Thank you for joining us, hon.
Please speak to us. What's your name, please?
Just lost second battery.
Are you guys gathering energy so you can speak?
Is the sheriff here? Noise from outside. Noise from outside. Coughing.
You are here, it's not gonna wall.
So that was showing the different heat signatures in that facility. You can see the human standing there, and then there's little heat signatures being picked up by the FLIR. It's pretty crazy. I'll have to go back and look into that one at some point where I can get a whole show out of that. Interesting. So let's see here. All right, now back to some glitching. Let's see what we got. Yeah, hello, Mom. Still here.
Hello.
See Jude. All right, let's see, guys. I got a bunch of these to look at tonight, so that's why we're looking at so many of them.
Can we go back and rewatch the guy getting the boxes thrown at him at work? Can you imagine?
That one was definitely funny.
Can you imagine if you actually got hurt and having to go file for workman's comp and then being like, "How were you injured? A ghost threw a box at me."
Right. Right, absolutely. Welcome, Natu. It's wonderful to have you here. We're doing something a little different than what we normally do with the paranormal stuff. Just a little. I do different things with the paranormal thing Fridays usually. I missed yesterday, so we're doing it tonight. It's wonderful to have you here, though.
As impossible as it may seem, there's evidence that our world could also be programmed like the Matrix. From inconsistencies in reality to glitches that look like something taken from a computer program. Today, we'll show you some glitches in the Matrix caught on camera and spotted in real life. Watch the video until the end to find out. But before we begin, make sure you hit the subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Invisible wall effect. Science states that for one body to move, another must exert force on it. However, there are times when this law doesn't work. The following video compilation we'll show you next is proof of this. As you can see in the images, a group of cars moving through the city streets are suddenly hit by a non-existent body. There are no other cars or buses that could have caused that impact. And yet, the magnitude of the accident is powerful, as if an invisible wall had suddenly appeared in the middle of the road. You're probably wondering how that's possible. Well, we're sorry to tell you that we don't have a logical explanation either. The only answer that seems to solve people's questions is related to glitches in reality. It turns out that just like in video games, our universe also suffers alterations that aren't detected by the human eye. From the ground beneath our feet to the walls around us. That's why these drivers weren't able to prevent the disaster. What do you think? Raven frozen in the sky. The next video we'll show you is as strange as it is incredible. And no, it's not a montage or a dramatization made by a group of students. It turns out that, as if it were an alternate universe, a crow remained completely frozen while it's flying over the streets of a city. Just like you heard it. The event took place in India on a hot summer afternoon. As you can see, bystanders took out their cell phones to record. Only one man decided to approach and help the defenseless animal. But since the distance between them was so big, he had to get on top of a car to reach the bird with a broom. The crow immediately reacted and continued its flight. However, what happened didn't stop showing up on everyone's minds. How could a bird stay in the air like that? Although many tried to answer this question, none of them managed to satisfy the curiosity of the hundreds of spectators, nor the million people who watched the video after it was posted online. What do you think?
I wonder if the bird, because that's the second time we've seen that, I gotta wonder if the bird suffered like a seizure or something.
How would it stay in the air, though?
That's a good point.
Yeah, birds aren't real. They're all drones. I thought you guys knew that.
I have pictures.
What?
I have pictures. My son was living in Boca, and I think I sent you the pictures. We named him Steve, but I went down there to take him a truck because he didn't have a vehicle at the time that was running. So we took him a truck down there, and this pigeon like came out of nowhere, and it had like one normal eye and the other eye was a robot eye. I'm not even kidding you. And it had a little band on its leg. So, you know, me being who I am, I could not help myself. I took the number off of the little band on his foot because he was super cool. Like you could walk right up to him. Like it was not a normal bird. And I looked up the numbers on his band, and he was a racing pigeon from out of California. And there was like a whole article, like a whole blog about it, that if you had one of these pigeons that encountered you, to give it water and like a place to rest, because they fly for so many hours that they have to rest. But this thing had a robot eye. Like, I'm not even kidding you.
You have pictures of this?
Yeah.
Watch
I think
out,
I
the
sent
men in
them
black
to
are
you.
going to come flashy thing you.
I've never seen these before. Flashy thingy, yeah.
Here, I'll send them to you again. Hang on. I think I sent them to you. I may not have.
That's wild. Thank Thank you, Leslie, for gifting the membership. I don't know who received it, but whoever did, congrats and welcome to the sauce with the rest of us. That's wild.
Jaguars
Though.
hooligan.
Congrats, Jaguar, and welcome to the sauce.
Is this the proof that we live in a simulation? Illusion in the game. Sometimes our eyesight isn't as powerful as we think. In fact, every day we're victims of illusions that alter our senses. But do you think they're powerful enough to make us imagine a person? This video was captured during a Major League Baseball game. And while everything seems in order at first, you should pay attention to what happens when the batter hits the ball and a member of the opposing team tries to catch it. When the player jumps over the fence to get that last out, a guard was walking nearby. If you're a good observer, you probably noticed him in the first shot, right? After all, he was very close to the player. But as it turns out, when that same scene was shot from another angle, the guard was no longer visible. If you don't believe us, we'll show you. Now, did you get to see him? The player fell behind the fence in a failed attempt to catch the ball. However, the guard wasn't there. Was it an illusion created by the effect of the light in the camera? Whatever the answer, we're sure that our world is more mysterious than it appears. Selective rain.
I'm confused as to what that was.
I don't think those are from the same thing, because like there were 3 other people on the other side, not just the one.
I think they just overlapped one photo with another one.
I don't think that was from the same catch or whatever.
No. Nope. That's good old photoshopping.
Rainfall. One of the most common glitches in reality appears when it rains. Have you ever wondered why it sometimes only rains in one area of the city? Yeah, it sounds really crazy. Storms are supposed to hit entire regions. But although this phenomenon seems simple to explain, a video recorded by a group of tourists in Italy proved the opposite. As you can see in this footage, it was only raining on a square meter of the road, just like you heard it. Both drivers and passerbys were astonished when they stopped on the side of the road. They even looked up to the sky to see where the strange cloud was. However, since it was night, they couldn't see anything but the intense rain hitting the ground in that little sector. After the video went viral on the internet, there was no shortage of people willing to give their opinion. But while one group tried to explain this mysterious phenomenon, others claimed it was a reality glitch, just like it happens in video games. What do you think?
Now, I have seen that happen, not in a spot that small, but I've seen it rain where I was standing on my porch and it was raining in the street, but not in front of the porch. Does that make
It
sense?
happens all, Rain in the front yard, not the back, all the time.
I've seen that happen a few times. Not in that small of a spot. That's weird, but just saying, it could have been. The storm cloud was right there for that moment. Thank you so much, Doodle. I appreciate that, hon.
One thing that's really cool that I've seen is when there's like heavy rain coming and you can see like the wall of it coming towards you.
I've driven away from rain, like trying to get away from it before trying to get home. And it's so coming right behind you. It's hilarious how it works. And driven out of it too. So, but that little spot, that's a little crazy. I got those pictures, Mom. I'll pull those up when we get through this here. And again, thank you, Doodle. I appreciate that. And that as well. And thank you to anybody that donates to the
Tunnel
channel.
of Death.
Thank you very much.
The following video isn't recommended for cardiac patients. So if you can't take strong emotions, this content is not for you. However, we're sure you will be surprised. This tape was captured through one of the surveillance cameras of a tunnel in the Lefortovo district, Russia. As you can see in the images, some cars were driving through the tunnel in a row. It's no big deal. However, chaos broke out when a truck crashed into another car that mysteriously appeared in front of it. Don't you believe us? Just pay attention to this footage and you'll notice that the other truck actually appeared out of nowhere. The strangest thing is that it came from another direction, and it looked exactly like the first truck. Did you notice? Many comments have been made since it was first posted, but to this day, no one has a clear explanation for what happened. Some think it may have been an effect that created the illusion of the car appearing out of nowhere. However, we question this theory. What do you think? Same movements. The world we live in is a simulation. At least that's what many know. However, chaos broke out when a truck crashed into another car that mysteriously appeared in front of it. Don't you believe us? Just pay attention to this footage and you'll notice that the other truck actually appeared out of nowhere. The strangest thing is that it came from another direction, and it looked exactly like the first truck. Did you notice? Many comments have been made since it...
Huh?
Pretty sure that's just a car accident.
That's what it looked like to me. It didn't look like anything crazy.
No. It's just people who don't know how to drive.
Right. That's my point, but okay.
It was first posted, but to this day, no one has a clear explanation for what happened. Some think it may have been an effect that created the illusion of the car appearing out of nowhere. However, we question this theory. What do you think? Same movements. The world we live in is a simulation. At least that's what many theorists claim. But if this hypothesis still doesn't convince you, let us show you the following video. It all started when two men were standing in front of a supermarket shelf. It doesn't seem strange at all. People do it. After all, no one wants to pick the wrong ingredient for a special dinner. To check the prices is also really important. Having to return some groceries for not having enough money is something that would certainly bother people. However, the situation got strange when both men decided to move at the same time. And not only that, but they did it using the same arm. Amazing, isn't it? Apparently, they felt the need to scratch in the same part of their bodies, something we definitely don't see every day. The video immediately went viral, but although many believed it was just a coincidence, this type of event doesn't happen very often, much less the way they did it, very naturally. Are we really going to be the victims of a powerful simulation? The frozen dog? If you like to play video games, you probably have suffered on more than one occasion the consequences of a program malfunction. Your avatar may remain static, and no matter how hard you try to press the buttons, it just won't move. Well, as impossible as it may seem, this kind of glitch also occurs in reality, just as you heard it. We haven't gone mad, and this next video we'll show you is proof of that. It turns out that when a man was walking around his house, he noticed that his dog was completely static in one of the hallways. Although he didn't mind at first, eventually he started to get frightened by his pet's strange attitude. So he took his camera and went back to the front hallway. To his amazement, he captured the way the dog remained still, not making a single move, like frozen in its own universe. Scary, don't you think? Fortunately, the dog finally reacted by receiving caresses from its owner. But to this day, people are wondering if it isn't evidence that our world is just an illusion. A program created by a superior being that sometimes has glitches like this. What do you think?
Now,
That's a type of seizure.
That's what I thought too, but that's still strange.
Oh, it would be creepy as hell if you walk out and you see your dog frozen like that. But yeah, that's a
right.
seizure.
That's wicked weird. Thank you again, Doodle. That's pretty cool though. I mean, to see it, you know what I mean? It would be scary for your dog though.
Oh, it would be scary as hell. You walk out and you just see that.
Yeah.
And you would definitely think like, damn, that's really weird.
Dane just said, I witnessed two ladies with the same name that ordered identical sandwiches. That's crazy. Kind of like
customers with the same names, same orders, same store all the time. You'd be surprised. It's crazy.
It does make crazy sense.
Think. Airplane and pause. Did you think that animals are the only beings that can remain frozen in time? If so, we're sorry to say you're wrong. How can we be so sure of that? Well, a long time ago, a man was able to catch on camera a strange plane in the sky. Just as if it had been paused in the middle of the air, it was completely motionless. Yep, you heard right. It turns out that this person was back from a long and well-deserved vacation. However, he did not expect to find that frightening phenomenon right in front of his eyes. Was it just an illusion? Apparently, it wasn't. Although the man was inside a moving car, he was astonished when he saw the plane was actually immobile in the middle of the sky. Just like when we pause our...
See, I'm telling you, that is crazy. I don't care how you see it, what it's called, whatever it is nuts to see that.
Favorite video games because we need to go to the bathroom. This footage went viral in a short time. But while some tried to explain the strange phenomenon, many believed it was a glitch in reality. What do you think? We hope that when your next vacation arrives, you don't want to take a plane trip. A mistake like this might cost you a lot of time. You don't want to stay in the air for hours when you could be enjoying the sea. Real-life video games. If you're still not convinced that our world is the result of a great simulation, you have to watch the next video. In it, you can see a group of basketball players in the middle of an intense game. The crowd was so entertained watching the moves of each player that they missed a rather peculiar event. If you don't believe us, feel free to repeat the video. It turns out that when one of the visiting team members took the ball, all his teammates started running in the same direction at the same time. Yeah, it may not seem like a fascinating thing, but if you have a keen eye, you may have noticed that even the way they move on the court and the position of their hands is the same. Now do you see it? You surely did not expect that. When this video was posted on the internet, everyone was surprised. Even the team member said nothing was planned. What do you think now? Whether we live in a programmed universe or not, that's your decision to make. If you don't believe us, feel free to repeat the video. It turns out that when one of the visiting team members took the ball, all his teammates started running in the same direction at the same time. Yeah, it may not seem like a fascinating thing, but if you have a keen eye, you may have noticed that even the way they move on the court and the position of their hands is the same. Now do you see it? You surely...
That's just a coincidence because they were all doing what they were doing, in my opinion.
Well, when you're a team and you're like training together, it's almost like with like synchronized swimmers, you get to be, synchronized.
You're true. They did look like a video game. It is pretty wild, though.
Did not expect that. When this video was posted on the internet, everyone was surprised. Even the team member said nothing was planned. What do you think now? Whether we live in a programmed universe or not, that's your decision to make. Antivirus dogs. All computer programs have glitches. Some of them turn out to be the result of malicious viruses that seek to attack our information. However, even though it may seem like something out of a sci-fi movie, this can also happen in reality. This next video is proof of that. This event was recorded in Turkey by a security camera. As you can see, a group of stray dogs that were walking around the area began to... It turns out that, as if it were some kind of computer program, the vehicle was having reality glitches that only the dogs were able to notice. And like a powerful antivirus, they decided to attack this malware from the root. But did they succeed? According to official sources, the camera stopped recording minutes after the attack. The next morning, when they tried to locate the car, it was gone. What do you think? Do you think our world is really the result of good programming? Hope you enjoyed the video, Top Fivers. If you haven't already, check out our other channel, Americano, to enjoy.
Interesting. Okay, let's see here. All right. Don't forget, we're in a matrix.
In a computer simulation. You might think that sounds crazy, but there are millions of people around the world who have experienced strange and frightening events supporting this idea. You see, if we live in a computer simulation like any other program, there will be bugs and glitches, inconsistencies in the fabric of reality that momentarily show the simulation for what it is, lines of code put there by an unknown power, manipulating everything that we think is real. People are now on the lookout for these bugs, sharing them everywhere, especially online. These reports cover everything from memories being wiped to people vanishing without a trace. So pay attention to these stories. They may just help you see that you're living in a world much stranger than you could possibly imagine. Here are 5.
It's not surprising that Elon would think that to me. I'm just saying, at all. Anything that Elon would say does not surprise me at all. I'll be honest with you.
People who discovered that we are living in a simulation. Something is wrong with my girlfriend. Lockdown during the pandemic has taken a toll on all of us. It's forced us to spend much more time indoors, bored, disconnected, and filled with apathy. But in the case of a man named Tony, spending all that time in his apartment brought him face to face with a real glitch in the Matrix. Until lockdown, life was happy for Tony. He was working a good job as a PhD student at a computer science department of a prestigious university. He also lived in his apartment with his girlfriend named Jenna. Tony and Jenna had been together for years. By the time the pandemic hit and lockdown started, they both felt like they knew each other as well as two people can. They knew each other's personal histories, they knew each other's likes and dislikes, and they certainly knew everything about each other's jobs. As with many glitches in a simulation, the first moment Tony noticed that something was wrong, it was subtle. One morning, he walked into the kitchen of their apartment and saw Jenna making a cup of coffee. She had always been a big lover of coffee in the past and criticized Tony for putting sugar in his own cup. She always said that it ruined the taste. But there was Jenna standing at the kitchen table, putting sugar in her morning cup of coffee. When Tony asked her about it, Jenna acted surprised. She told him, "I've always put sugar in my coffee." At first, Tony tried to ignore this as a mistake on his part, but then other things started to become more apparent. Several of Jenna's routines changed, and even her likes and dislikes flipped. It almost began to feel to Tony as if she had been replaced or reprogrammed as an entirely new person. And that is when the biggest shock revealed itself. During the pandemic, Tony and Jenna worked from home. While Tony was sitting at his laptop, Jenna asked him, "How's Larry doing?" But Tony didn't know a Larry. When he told her this, Jenna got angry, saying, "Of course you know Larry. He works with you at the company. You're always talking about him." Tony tried to convince Jenna that Larry didn't exist, but she was adamant about it. What shocked Tony even more was that Jenna was certain that Tony knew Larry because they both worked for the same company. When Tony told Jenna that he worked as a university PhD student and had never worked at a company, she could not accept it. Something had gone very wrong for one of them. It was as if one of their lives had become reset and altered. But whose? Was Jenna really hallucinating the entire time, or did she actually remember things how they were before the glitch? Was it Tony's life that had been transformed? Like a rewrite had occurred, an update to speak, where Tony's life suddenly had been altered for an unknown purpose. Or was Jenna the glitch herself? Neither of them could come to terms with this huge change in their lives, and to this day, they still can't. They were both left wondering if they could even trust each other. The most unsettling suspicion is that one of them may have been in on the change all along. After all, some people are going to be NPCs in the game, and others not. If we really are living in a simulation, just how many of our closest friends and family members are in on it? The question you have to ask yourself is, could you be living in your own personal Truman Show? My husband thinks we both died. One type of glitch that often gets reported is the everyday world suddenly changing with no warning. Sometimes one subtle thing has altered. Sometimes it seems like the entire world has changed into something new and unfamiliar. But one case in particular is special because this strange shift in perception didn't happen to just one person, but two. Many years ago, Cheryl and Jason were happily dating, waiting to see where things would go between them. It was during this period that tragedy should have brought this relationship to a horrifying end. One night, Jason was driving his truck with a friend along for company when he hit a bad patch of black ice. There was no way he could have avoided it at the speed he was going, and so his truck slid into oncoming traffic. Cars swerved out of the way, but Jason remained helpless at the wheel as his truck slid across the ice. Two headlights beamed through his windshield as an oncoming car smashed straight into his truck. The vehicle rolled over and was completely mangled by the impact. When the paramedics arrived on the scene, they were amazed to see Jason and his friend standing by the side of the road. Both of them were unhurt. Looking at the wreckage, the paramedics couldn't believe that anyone could survive such a crash. This was backed up by the insurance company, who later looked at the vehicle. How could two people walk out of a vehicle that was so crushed and twisted? The crash investigators could not see how it was possible. Jason and his friend absolutely should have died. A few days after the crash, Jason visited Cheryl at her apartment. They were talking casually when Jason started looking at the flat screen TV that Cheryl had in her room. Jason then asked nonchalantly, "Where's the other TV?" Cheryl responded by telling him that it was the same television that they had since they started dating, but that Jason was convinced that instead of having a flat TV screen, that she had an old tube television. Time passed, and Jason maintained that there was something strange about the car crash in the fact that details like the television in Cheryl's room had somehow switched after it. 7 years passed, and by this time Cheryl and Jason were married. While on vacation to Italy, Cheryl suddenly became very ill while sightseeing. She had cramps and began bleeding. Panicked, she cried for help, and Jason called for an ambulance. Cheryl was rushed to the hospital, and the doctor said that she had an ectopic pregnancy. She was then taken to an emergency surgery where the pregnancy was tragically terminated and removed. When Cheryl regained consciousness, the doctor told her that had she waited any longer to phone an ambulance, she certainly would have died. It was almost a miracle that she survived that amount of bleeding. In fact, the doctor couldn't account for it all in his years of practicing. 2 months on from that emergency, Cheryl was back home and recuperating with Jason. The conversation between the couple turned to fire risks in their home. Cheryl stated confidently that Jason didn't need to worry, as they both had bought and installed a fire extinguisher in a cupboard of the house before their trip to Italy. But again, this puzzled Jason. Just like the changing television, Jason told Cheryl that there was no such fire extinguisher in their home. Cheryl laughed at this and even tried to remind him about how they had argued about where it should be installed, finally agreeing on the cupboard. To prove her point, she opened the cupboard, not only to find that there was no fire extinguisher, but that there was no evidence of it ever having been there. No fittings or holes where they had placed the screws. Cheryl thought it was a trick, but Jason then reminded her about the switching television and how it seemed to be the same phenomenon. After thinking about the situation for a while, Jason came to a startling conclusion. He recognized that the television had switched after his car crash, the same car crash he should have never walked away from. Then the disappearing fire extinguisher that Cheryl swore was real happened shortly after her brush with death. Again, a situation she was lucky to survive. A growing sense of dread fell across the couple as they looked around their lives.
Uh-oh. Did they bump me on that one?
Hmm?
Oh, that must have been a, I filtered them all. That one must not have went through. I guess it froze. Hold on. I wonder why this one didn't filter then. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess we can't watch that one, guys. Huh.
The irony of having these glitches tonight when we're talking about glitches.
Yeah, right. I'll be damned. Like I said, I filter all these and they're usually fine, but I guess that one slid through it. Hold on. Okay. No, be safe there, Holly, if you can hear me. Well, that's crappy. Do 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 do. But do do but do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do do be do be do be do be do be do be be do be be do. Can you guys see me yet?
Nope. I got you pulled up on the phone.
Nothing yet.
Nope.
Wonder if I got an email. Let me see. That was weird. Nothing yet.
And we're back.
Are we back? Cool. Yep, I got it. Okay. All right. Well, I filtered that one, folks, and I guess it was not.
Maybe we just got sucked into a wormhole and spit out into an alternate reality.
That's very possible.
Maybe the people in this one won't suck.
The Matrix was a documentary. Oh, Lord. All right. Let's see here. Give me a second. I gotta filter all these things through to make sure we're good. Now this one. Hang on. Okay, so this story here, I filtered it. I hope it's okay. But this is kind of interesting. All right. Cross your fingers and hope that it works. The last one was filtered too, and it still didn't. Whatever. Let's try it.
In early October of 2019, a young CEO by the name of Aaron Valenti was on a business trip from Utah to California. The 33-year-old was to participate in a 3-day workshop and tech conference with other businessmen and women. Her company, Tinker Ventures, had previously endorsed brain-machine interface technology that dealt with machine learning and neuroscience. After frantically calling her parents, exclaiming, "It's all a game, it's a thought experiment, we're in the Matrix," Valenti misses her flight home and is found dead a few days later, leaving behind a very strange mystery. What happened to Aaron Valenti? Aaron Valenti grew up in Fairpoint, New York.
This video is for educational purposes only, and I will be commentating on this as we review this video. Thank you.
And was described as being smart, energetic, and full of crazy ideas. She was a graduate in business administration from Georgetown University and attended classes in Chinese language, culture, and business practices. Aaron was also an advocate against human trafficking and a volunteer for Not for Sale, a non-profit organization that fights against human trafficking and modern-day slavery. Her husband, Harrison Weinstein, is a psychologist who insisted that his wife had no history of mental illness, hospitalization, substance abuse, or arrests. She was completely normal. The two eventually moved to Salt Lake City, Utah, where Aaron started up Tinker Ventures, a web development company that now employs over 120 people. The business notably recruited a remote staff of engineers from Pakistan and was very profitable, according to close friends of Aaron. In 2019, Aaron planned a business trip to Orange County for a tech conference, and then to Silicon Valley to meet with friends. Her last post on Facebook was on September 25th, and it stated, "Heading to San Francisco and Los Angeles soon. Who's around? DM me." On the week of October 1st, 2019, Aaron flew to Orange County, California for a professional development workshop. Her mother, Agnes Valenti, recalled that Aaron sounded very excited about her trip during their phone call, that she couldn't wait to get home and start something new. A few days later, she flew to Silicon Valley to visit old friends and former colleagues. Finally, on October 7th, Erin made a series of strange phone calls to her husband Harrison and her mother. They described the way she spoke as being out of character. Her words were reportedly fast and erratic, and that what she was saying wasn't making much sense. Notably, Erin told her mother, "It's all a game, it's a thought experiment, we're in the Matrix." Erin also stated that she was going to miss her flight, and that the vehicle she was driving was low on gas. Her husband and mother took turns talking to her on the phone until midnight. After that, their calls went straight to voicemail. They would not hear from her ever again. Later that night, Erin missed her flight from the Palo Alto Airport to Utah. She was reportedly last seen at Almaden Expressway and Camden Avenue in San Jose, California, wearing a white t-shirt and ripped up blue jeans. Her case was sent to the San Jose Police Department, and 5 days later, she was found dead in the back seat of a rental vehicle in an Almaden neighborhood. There were no signs of physical assault, and no drugs in her system either. Shortly after.
So the thought behind this, of course, anybody that comes out and says stuff like this, they portray them as being crazy, insane, so on and so forth. But the story behind Erin Valente was that she was onto some kind of governmental, whatever you want to call it, and she had related to the Matrix and life as itself, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And pretty crazy stuff. So, it's pretty wild. And that's what the story is right there, really. What Glitter just said. So, there's but I have to stop and commentate through this because I want to make sure that this is seen, because it's really kind of an interesting story, and it definitely relates to the paranormal in some senses as far as what we discovered.
Have you seen the thing about, what was it called, the octopus murder or something?
The what?
It was this guy, they ended up calling it the octopus something theory, or and this guy was like investigating all this weird stuff within our government, and then he ended up dead, and like he was clearly murdered, but they hurried up and had him cremated before even notifying his family that he was dead, and it was a whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard lots of stories like that, but never that one specific. No.
It's crazy.
It's pretty wild. I'll have to look into it. But this story with her was pretty interesting.
After their phone call, Valenti's family went to the police in search for Erin. The family gave details about her rental vehicle, including the make, model, and license plate. The police actually managed to speak to her through the phone that night, but also found her communications to be bizarre. Weinstein contacted Verizon Wireless and found out that the last place Erin's cell phone had signal in was on Menlo Drive, north of the Almaden Expressway. Her phone also pinged a few times up north, before shutting off. Officers investigated both areas, as well as nearby hospitals, for several hours, but found nothing. Interestingly, her rental vehicle did not have any sort of tracking device on it. The family also attempted to locate her phone using apps such as Find My, but were unsuccessful. Despite the fact that Erin was clearly in danger, the police supposedly did not report an official missing persons case until Thursday, October 10th, 2019. By that point, the family hadn't heard from Erin for 3 days. This is due to the police believing that her disappearance was not a top priority, simply because she was an adult and could have just decided to take a few days off. Sounds crazy, but people have voluntarily disappeared on their own accord because of an abusive partner, home life, or such. As noted by spokeswoman Sergeant Melody Gray, if you're over 18, you have the rights. However, given that Erin was the CEO of a fairly large web development company that worked on contract, not subscriptions, and that she was even set to receive an award for entrepreneurial excellence a mere 2 days later, it's highly unlikely that she would choose to leave. Still, when the police eventually did file her disappearance, they described her as being voluntarily missing and didn't actively search for her. Disappointed with the police's lack of effort, Erin's family created a Facebook page called Help Find Erin Valenti. The page garnered the attention of locals from the Bay Area, who volunteered in the search. Some families drove around in pursuit of Erin, while others incorporated the use of drones. Despite all their efforts, Erin remained missing. That is, until a few days later, when one of the volunteers from Facebook located Erin's gray SUV parked at a residential street in a quiet San Jose neighborhood, around half a mile away from her last known location. After looking inside, her body was found in the back seat of the vehicle. The coroner's office hadn't yet officially identified the body, but Valenti's family was able to confirm that it was her. An investigation by the San Jose Police Department found no evidence of foul play, and blood tests determined that there were no drugs or substances in her system. At the time, officials were not able to determine Erin's exact time of death, nor how long she was in her car before being found. We now know that her vehicle was parked on the street for 5 days, following an extensive investigation. This means that shortly after Erin's phone call with her family, she missed her flight home, parked at a nearby neighborhood, jumped in the back seat of a rental vehicle, died somehow, and remained completely unnoticed for several days. Residents of the quiet neighborhood struggle to rationalize what could have happened. It's really strange, bizarre, foggy to me, because this kind of stuff just doesn't usually go down in Almaden. What else seems weird is that none of us noticed. And we're a pretty tight neighborhood, so I'm pretty tripped out. Erin's father, Joseph Valenti, firmly believes that the San Jose Police Department completely mishandled her daughter's case, and wished that they had acted more aggressively. It's difficult to know exactly what happened the week Erin went missing, but most sources say that the police did not do as much as they should have. With such a strange circumstance and so many unanswered questions, it leaves the case open for conspiracy theories. Some online sleuths have accused her 3-day workshop of being an LGAT, or Large Group Awareness Training. The workshop Erin participated in was called Create Powerful, hosted by Anso Core, and was intended to help entrepreneurs with personal and professional growth for their businesses. Some have compared this to an LGAT, which are also self-help seminars that incorporate psychological and somewhat cult-like practices. Both cost a large amount of money, both take place over several days with a group of people involved, and both promise to help attendees achieve better success with their business. Many have expressed fear that the techniques used in LGATs can be very harmful, but there's little scientific evidence to support this claim. Others have attempted to tie this to the Overstock scandal that happened a few months prior. In August of 2019, then CEO of Overstock, Patrick Byrne, resigned after issuing a statement where he claimed to be involved in political espionage. And Erin did used to work at Overstock, and she did have a meetup with old colleagues. If there is a connection there, it's honestly outside the realm of this video, and seems to be a whole other conspiracy on its own. Finally, an eco-terrorist group known as the Individualists Tending Towards the Wild, or simply the ITS, claims to be responsible for the death of Erin, as well as another tech CEO, Tushar Atre. In Tushar's case, he was kidnapped from his home in Santa Cruz on October 1st, 2019, and was found dead the next day. However, this claim has not been verified, and there's no evidence to suggest the group's involvement. One of the oddest aspects of this case is, of course, her last comments before her disappearance. She exclaimed to her mother, "It's all a game. It's a thought experiment. We're in the Matrix." even though it's quite a bizarre thing for someone to say right before their suspicious death.
Now, mind you, she went to this conference, this whatever meeting this was with this group, before she made that to her mother, that comment to her mother, and then disappeared. So that was kind of interesting to me. I'd like to know what went on there.
It might actually be explainable, but more on that in a moment. I think it's safe to say that most people watching this video know what the Matrix is, but just in case you don't, the Matrix is this philosophical idea that the universe and everything that's made up of is a simulation. This is most popularly depicted in the 1999 movie of the same name, where our main protagonist, Neo, finds out that humanity has been enslaved by the machines, an advanced race of artificial intelligence, and the life that he was experiencing was just information being fed to his brain. Now, I don't think the people who believe in the idea of the Matrix also believe that machines and robots will one day overthrow humanity, but instead they believe that at some point, human consciousness, something that we don't currently fully understand, became understood to the point of it being replicable. And so, like humans usually do, we went for it and succeeded. Given how much our technology has evolved in the past few decades, and how more integrated AI technology has been in our everyday lives, I wouldn't say that creating a simulation of our world in the next couple hundred years or so isn't entirely unlikely. And if that's the case, then who's to say we're not already in a simulation?
If you assume any rate of improvement at all, then the games will become indistinguishable from reality. Just indistinguishable. It would seem to follow that the odds that we're in base reality is 1 in billions.
Of course, this is all just a theory, based on a number of assumptions that makes for a fun, philosophical conversation. But such technology that can read our movements and replicate them in a simulation is already being developed. And as previously stated, Aaron's company, Tinker Ventures, did endorse the advent of brain-machine interface technology, particularly from the company Control Labs, founded by Thomas Reardon of Microsoft fame. The company sought to create a future in which machines are natural extensions of thoughts and movements, according to Medium. Control Labs will connect your nervous system to your technology and allow your brain to send commands through the muscles in your arm. It's so sensitive, you don't even have to move your arm or hand to make it work. The controller just gets the idea. The future of brain-machine interfaces is non-invasive. Instead of surgical implants, Control Labs uses state-of-the-art detection and machine learning to read your neurons from outside the body. The first step will be technology precisely picking up the signals from inside your body to control devices outside of it with little more than natural gestures. The next step, and we're already closer than most people realize, will be reading the intention directly from your brain. This, combined with Erin's last words to her family, and her mysterious death, have led some to believe that she may have stumbled upon some grand conspiracy involving our world being a simulation. Unfortunately, this was all we had to work with for the next couple of months, as no new details about Erin's death would be discovered, leaving her case as a mystery. That is, until February of 2020. In February of 2020, a cause of death was finally identified for Erin Valenti. According to the autopsy reports, her death was due to natural causes following an acute manic episode, though it didn't specify what exactly killed her. Although Erin's husband claimed that she had no previous mental or drug-related issues, Erin did have a thyroid condition that was later treated with medication. According to Business Insider, it's possible that she could have died due to this previous condition that she thought was already taken care of. But the blood samples taken were, quote, not satisfactory for an analysis. Furthermore, an investigation into some of Erin's last electronic communications showed symptoms of a manic episode, according to the San Jose Medical Examiner's Office. They eventually concluded that her death was due to an undiagnosed psychiatric disorder, bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is defined as an illness in which one experiences periods of extremely high moods and extremely low moods. You can think of these two periods as opposite ends of a pole, hence the name bipolar disorder. According to Dr. Po Wang, a psychiatrist from Stanford University who specializes in bipolar disorder, the condition is frequently undiagnosed, and what often follows after is a period of depression and irritability, where suicide attempts are common. In Erin's case, she could have experienced her manic episode sometime after visiting her friends in Silicon Valley. This causes her to call her parents and frantically talk about life being a thought experiment or the Matrix. Her company was interested in that kind of technology after all. Following that conversation, she rushes to the airport, experiences a wave of depression, parks her vehicle in a San Jose neighborhood, and dies shortly thereafter. Even so, if Erin had committed suicide, the method by which she did so is still unclear. However, it's not entirely unlikely. A study conducted at the University of California, San Francisco surveyed 242 entrepreneurs and found that 49% of them reported having at least one mental health condition. When compared to a small sample of 93 non-entrepreneurs, they were noticeably more likely to report having some type of mental health condition. The entrepreneurs were then asked to specify on their condition. 30% reported having depression, 29% reported having ADHD, 12% reported having substance abuse, 11% were reported having bipolar disorder, and 27% reported having anxiety. In comparison, 7% of the US population have identified themselves as depressed, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. All of this would seem to suggest a link between having mental health disorders and entrepreneurship. And this isn't too surprising. Take Aaron Swartz, for example. He was an entrepreneur and internet activist, who was mostly known as the co-founder of Reddit. He wrote about his own struggles with depression on his online blog, and after being arrested, he committed suicide. There are dozens of examples and articles written on the subject, and perhaps Aaron could have been affected by this as well. However, because Erin's body was found a few days after she died, the autopsy report admitted that their findings were inconclusive. Furthermore, her family just doesn't believe that she was the type of person to kill herself. Following her death, Erin's family started the Erin Valenti Women in Entrepreneurship Scholarship with the goal of raising $100,000 for aspiring female entrepreneurs at the University of Utah. She always believed that more women should pursue an entrepreneurship, and this scholarship was created to honor that dream. Whatever happened to Erin Valenti will remain a mystery. As her mother Agnes remarks, we may never find an answer.
So, some people, no disrespect intended, claim that based on what Erin said, that at that moment in her life, if you believe in these things, which I don't, of course, but that Erin realized the situation and unplugged herself from the Matrix. That is what that story had. The multiple people who knew who she was claim that is what she was trying to say. I'm not one of those people that believe in that. I believe something else happened. What? I don't know, but it's quite interesting to say the least.
I believe that if it's something you believe in, I can see why she would want to unplug. Like, if she really felt that she was trapped in this, and like during like a manic episode, and you're having these
Exactly.
delusions and thinking like, oh, this is real, I'm locked in here, the only way to get out is to end it.
Exactly. So you take the fictional basis of the story and relate it to reality, there it is. And that could have been the manic episode. That she saw or heard something, and that during that period of time when she was there, what's happening, Harbinger, and decided that I have to get out of here. And it was, like we said, manic. She had a breakdown, and that's how she felt she had to be removed from the situation. It's very sad. The story I wanted to show you because it relates to what we were talking about all night. It's kind of an interesting end to the rest of that. It's very sad at the very least, but still at the same time a very interesting, because of the simple fact that there are people that their minds will break things down like this and see things in this sense. And it's a whole, how can I say it? It takes you into a whole completely different paranormal realm of what we believe to be normalcy. You know what I mean? And that's where the problem lies, right there, Glitter. And it could have been, okay, that they said she died from natural causes. There was nothing on the autopsy that showed there was anything at all. No foul play. There was no drugs in her system. No nothing. But if she had a full-blown manic episode that was that intense to her, she could have had a full cardiac event from it. You know what I mean? Fear can cause those things. You know, she was very young, but just saying, I've heard of stranger things happening. But I just thought that story relating to this whole situation, because there's so many people out there that live with this as being a reality to them, I guess you could say. There was another, where's it at? There was another entrepreneur. Hold on a minute here. Another CEO. Let me see if I can find this, because I read this story a while back, but hold on a minute. It's when Andy and Molly decided to do this, I thought this would relate to this very well, but give me a second here, guys. Okay, so the other guy that they talked about in this story, I never say his name right. Tushar Atre, I think it is. He had a very, very similar situation to Aaron, which is strange to me because there's so many things that were alike. And I'm going to show you real quick, and then we'll be done for the night. What time is it? Yeah, we'll definitely be done. This won't take very long. I thought it was very interesting. And it kind of has a true crime tip to it in the paranormal realm as well. So, all right, guys, hold on a minute.
Viewer discretion is advised. At the time of this case, Erin Valenti is 33 years old and she is living in Salt Lake City, Utah. Erin was the founder of a company called Tinker Ventures, and she was also its CEO. She has somewhere around 100 to 130 employees. And I guess she had worked at Overstock.com previously before this. Erin would go on various trips, business-related trips, and one of her trips would take her to the Silicon Valley area of California. She was on one of these trips in October of 2019. Erin attended some business meetings or a conference there. She was observed by many people. She had been inquiring about a lot of new technologies and just looking for new ideas. After this 3-day trip is over with, she goes to visit a friend. She sees that friend. The friend says she's totally normal. Everything seems fine. Erin leaves to go back to the airport. And this is when it gets strange. Erin Valenti, I guess from her rental car on the way to the airport, would call her family, and she was demonstrating some very bizarre behavior. They would say that she seemed frantic and a little erratic, which was extremely unlike her. Erin Valenti had no diagnosed mental health issues. Doesn't mean she didn't have any. She just didn't have any diagnosed. But according to one of her family members, Erin Valenti on the phone said this phrase, quote, "It's all a game. It's a thought experiment. We're in the Matrix," end quote. And then she vanished. She never got on her flight. She never arrived back home to Utah, and her family became very concerned, obviously. So on October 7th, 2019, after they failed to get a hold of her or see her, they reported her missing. I want to say to police first in the San Jose area, because that's where she last was seen. Apparently, the police there did
Good night,
not
Andy. Have a great night,
formally
hon.
submit the missing persons report until several days after the family called. And when they did so, the police labeled it a voluntarily missing type thing, meaning they're saying that Erin disappeared on her own accord without any actual proof or evidence of that. Then 5 days or so after she is reported missing, her rental vehicle is found parked down a residential street. It was a gray Nissan Murano, and allegedly it had been parked there for like 5 days. When they look inside the car, in the back seat of the car, they find a woman, soon to be identified as Erin Valenti. Erin was deceased. There were no signs of trauma. There were no knife wounds. There was no blood, no gunshot wounds, no scratches, no signs of defense on her hands or anywhere, no sign of a struggle. She looked completely normal and was in the back of her car, rental car. When a coroner did the autopsy and they ran a toxicology test, there were no drugs in her system. There was no alcohol in her system. This includes prescription drugs. Like, there was nothing. She was clean. There was no discernible cause of death. Eventually, the San Jose coroner would state that she died of natural causes from some kind of manic episode. Like, you don't die of manic episodes. You don't die of a mental health issue. Like, the actual mental health issue doesn't kill you. And so there weren't even signs of she did this to herself, there was no cut wrists, there was no pills taken.
That's why this was so engaging for me, because she just basically stopped being. Her heart just stopped. She just stopped breathing, and that she just ceased to exist. It was so strange. There was nothing to show anything. And the only thing that I could put together with my knowledge and my experience and things like this, I guess you could say, would be that because she worked herself up so rampantly in her mind and got herself so worked up that she probably had a full-blown cardiac event and ceased to exist right there. The thing that gets me is that she was in the back seat of her vehicle, like she premeditated the situation and she knew it was going to happen or something like that. It was very strange. And it made me wonder, did somebody drive her there and leave her in the back seat, or did she do this herself? Do you know what I mean? It's very weird. It is very weird based on what she had to say and the way things went down, because before this there was nothing. I looked at this story in 4 different ways before when I read it before. There was nothing that even showed any symptoms or any signs that she could have a situation like this. Just that day, and that was it. So it makes you wonder, really does.
Erin Valenti just died in her car, parked down a residential street in Silicon Valley. And her family just found it very strange that her behavior just before this was completely out of character. She was talking a million miles a minute, her dad would say. She was saying bizarre things that they had never observed in her before. And anyone who saw her just leading up to her eventual death said everything seemed normal. She was not acting unusual or strange. So nobody knows what happened to her. Roughly a week before she was reported missing, another CEO who actually lived in the Santa Cruz, California area near Silicon Valley, a man named Tushar Atre, he was abducted from his home in Santa Cruz. He was the CEO of a company called AtreNet. I guess was like a web design and marketing company. And he was doing really well for himself. He lived in this big, beautiful home. He had a girlfriend at the time of this case. He was like a very happy dude. Again, he didn't seem anything out of the ordinary around this time. He didn't indicate that anyone was after him or that he had any known public enemies. He was also, I guess he owned cannabis properties where they would grow cannabis, and he had employees who worked for him doing that. But at any rate, around 3 o'clock in the morning on October 1st, 2019, Tushar Atre was abducted from his home, which is located like right on the cliffside. There is CCTV footage of 3 men approaching his house, and they are seen outside in this neighborhood. And then they also have CCTV of the vehicle that Tushar's girlfriend owned speeding away from the house. And that was literally, it was capturing the abduction of Tushar Atre. There was no like ransom notes left behind. There were no ransom calls. Several hours go by and Tushar's girlfriend's car is found, and inside the car is the body of Tushar Atre. He had been stabbed numerous times and shot in the back of the head. Then a few days later, you have the disappearance of another tech CEO, in Erin Valenti, but she had no signs of trauma or, no indications of an actual murder. Were they connected?
See, I think his situation is a little bit more realistic as to based on what he did and the ventures he was involved in could have caused his death in that sense. Her situation is way different, in my opinion. It's just ironic that they were both CEOs of these entrepreneurships in this area, per se, is why I'm showing you, because they always relate it to this one too. I don't know why.
For a little bit of time there, police had to think, well, this crazy coincidence that these 2 big, wealthy CEOs of tech companies go missing and or are found dead within the same time frame, they have to be connected, right? There was actually a point when this eco-terrorist group would come out with a statement that read, quote, "Wishing death to all of civilization, our group of extremists happily murdered 2 tech executives in the West Coast, Tushar Atre and Erin Valenti. We conducted the killings for no other reason than the symbolism of seeing 2 flimsy appendages of the techno-industrial system lying first in agony and then motionless before us." This was a group called the Individualists Tending Toward the Wild USA Nature's Wrath, or ITS. And I think they would probably look into this, but it ended up being just absolutely nothing and meaningless. This essentially was a lie. When they were looking into Tushar Atre's murder, a couple of names kept popping up: Stephen Lindsay and Caleb Charters. These two men had worked on one of his cannabis farms, and this is an image of the two men literally doing work on one of his properties. They really just did hard labor, manual labor for him, putting up posts and doing some planting. They had only been working for him for a few weeks, maybe a month or two before this murder happened. The police would learn that there was a lot of animosity from these two men towards Tushar. He had actually, I guess Tushar had stopped a payment on their paychecks. And one of the men would admit to police that this really pissed them off so much they wanted to fight Tushar. Like they admitted they wanted to be kind of violent towards him. They found out that I guess Tushar Atre would make these guys do push-ups in front of other people as like some kind of like punishment or something. But in the end, it humiliated the men who worked, on this farm. This is allegedly according to them, by the way. They would learn that eventually, after there was an argument between the men and Tushar, he did end up giving them their paycheck, but only a partial payment. Then they found out that Caleb's brother, Curtis Charters, and then a friend of theirs named Joshua Camps were also, I guess, in the area during the time that this kidnapping took place. And through a series of investigative looks into things like CCTV, cell phone data, evidence they had from the crime scenes, they were able to ascertain that Stephen Lindsay and Caleb Charters were the masterminds behind this attempted robbery to get a lot of money out of Tushar Atre that eventually led to his death. And that the other two men's names I mentioned were helping them do this. So all four men have now been arrested and charged with murder and kidnapping of Tushar Atre. The most recent update was, I think, in December of 2023, so just a few months ago, and there has not been a trial yet. I do know that all four men have pled not guilty to these crimes, but a trial has not occurred. I think they expect the trial to happen sometime in this first half of 2024, but I can't say for certain. In terms of them having any links or connections to Aaron Valenti, no. In the end, it turns out that this was literally just a coincidence, that two tech company CEOs were found dead within the same month. And so hopefully Tushar Atre is on his way to getting the justice he deserves. But then you have Aaron Valenti's case, where this is just a very strange mystery. How exactly did she die? That's the question they still wonder. With absolutely no signs of trauma to her body, no cuts, no bruises, no gunshot wounds, no stab wounds, no broken bones, no fractures, no drugs or alcohol in her system, including prescription drugs. There was no overdose. There was no indications that she did this to herself. How on earth did this pretty healthy young woman, how did she end up dead in the back of her own rental car and she just died of natural causes? How did that happen? I mean, sure, people die of natural causes all the time. It's not like it's impossible, but it just seems very strange. And so I think her family is still they just really want to keep pushing this to see if there was foul play involved. And hopefully one day they get the answers to that question. So one person hopefully will get justice soon, and hopefully one day Aaron Valenti's family will get the answers they are looking for.
There you go, guys. And that's going to do it for... Is it a Matrix or is it not? Well, thank you guys for sticking with me tonight. For those of you that were here, are you sleeping, Kimber? Yep. All righty. Salty, are you out too? Mm-hmm. All righty. Well, thank you. I will tell them thank you tomorrow. And everybody in chat, thank you guys for hanging with us. sticking it out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, I thank Andy and Molly for putting the ideas together. Very good stuff. A little something different to think about, to look into, just to take a little sidestep out of reality a little bit for a bit of time tonight. I hope you guys got some kind of an entertainment value out of it tonight, enjoyed it in some senses. And I will probably see you guys all sometime tomorrow night, maybe. I hope you guys all have a great day tomorrow. A wonderful rest of your night, guys. Please don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. And don't forget, don't change a thing about yourselves. You guys are amazing, and I do appreciate you all so very much. We're actually going to cover that, Harbinger. That Live Pass, yes, we are going to cover that on a Friday night. I already have that in the book for it, so yes, we will. We're going to be covering that. We're going to be looking into the Sasquatch legend and theory, the multiple versions of it. So stay tuned for Fridays, folks. When we do Paranormal Fridays, it's going to get bigger and better. I got 2 really good producers for this, and they're going to make it good. So, guys, thanks again for joining me tonight for the Paranormal Saturday. I appreciate you all very much. Please make sure, if you have not subscribed, please do. Please hit the like button on your way out the door if you haven't done it. And stay tuned for the rest of what we cover. Make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss anything, guys. Much love to everybody, guys, and have a wonderful rest of your night. Good night, and God bless everybody. Bye-bye.